The following program is rated TV MALS. It contains strong language and sexual situations. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Gangsta, 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 gangsta. Gangsta, 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 gangsta. It's not about a salary, it's all about reality.
Yo, we are live, man. Spine Ticks in the house with Corin Nemec. What's up, Corin? Good to see you, bro.
What's up, dudes? What's happening?
Oh man, I have
Good
got
to see you, my brothers.
You too, man. I was really enjoying our backstage conversation. A few things off the record, but we're gonna have an on the record stream here. We got a live chat of friends who are excited to talk to you about your career and all that. But
right on, man. I'm excited to talk to them.
It's been like 30 years, man, and my last
Don't
memory
talk
of
decades, bro.
I know. Look at this younger guy swag, except he's got the great chinny chin chin. So
I wasn't alive yet.
Yeah, easy. So I mean, everybody in the chat, all of our friends, you know Corin Nemec. You've read his IMDb, but of course, right? Notably, Stargate SG-1, The Stand, Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And so Corin, usually what happens, this whole live chat is full. They're all commenting.
Yeah.
I welcome them all by name, and it takes about 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But I said this episode, we can't do that because we only got Corin for like an hour, and he's graciously agreed to stay up on the East Coast. What's it, like 11:02 for you right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the wife is like, hey, how long you gonna be doing that, right? She's like,
yeah, man. Dude, life is so different now. I'm usually in bed by like 9:45, 10 o'clock, posted up, ready to crash, reading some cool, interesting books or something, Nice. But
well, at least two of us on the panel can read. My man Swag here, he buys comic books, but he never reads the insides.
Whoa. Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. So Corin, the last time, my last memory of you was at that McDonald's on Ventura. Remember that place? We'd hang out there.
Dude, that McDonald's, man, you were risking your life hanging out at that McDonald's.
All right, well, I came prepared here. Okay, so I took some slides, and let's show the people what the McDonald's looks like. Boom, you remember that?
Oh, so boy, do I.
So that McDonald's is no longer there, but my last memory of you was you kind of like, it was that night, you were in your full tagging mode, right? You're a graffiti artist, and you're kind of creeping along, you got the black jacket on, and I'm there, it's a party crew over there. I have a Pirates hat, not this one, but a dope one, and you were like, you're basically organizing stuff, and you're like, I want you to be in this crew, and your name's gonna be Pirate. And I was like, oh, Pirate, okay. And I'm thinking that was like 1991, I'm thinking.
No, it had to be earlier than that.
Okay.
Because I had already graduated high school in 1990, and my memories of that particular McDonald's was all from the 80s.
Okay.
I don't think I really went to that McDonald's again after 1990 or 91. It might have been in 90, but I had kind of been forced to move out of North Hollywood to the Burbank area by 1989. I wasn't really around that particular McDonald's too much. But I remember I was hanging at that McDonald's from like 1986 around then. That was a big hangout for taggers and stuff back then, and back when the whole area behind it was all tagged up with like FFF block letters,
Yeah, I remember, man, the NH boys. So, and by the way, for you guys in the live chat, definitely going to get your questions for Corin. We're just opening up, reminiscing. So, Corin, I got a two for you, because we're going to get into kind of like what got you into acting, and you had referenced our mutual friend David, But this is
Yeah.
me. This is me and David around that time that you and I had kind of hung out there a little bit. So there's your homie SithLordly with the
Yeah,
Raiders
exactly.
hat, and there's David right there. And for you guys in the chat, you're probably like, okay, well, who's this David guy? I'm gonna bring up this next
If it
one.
wasn't for
Corin.
David, I wouldn't have become an actor.
I know, man. And so, like,
Yeah.
you know, here's David. Corin, I mean, why don't you give your little intro about like what happened with David and how you got into acting?
Yeah, man. I moved. My mom was in the music business when I was growing up. She was a graphic designer, and she did poster design and marketing design and stuff like that for acts that were coming through Atlanta where we were living. And I was heavy into the hip hop scene in the 80s and breakdancing and all of that. And so in Atlanta, the graffiti scene where I was at outside of the city, and even in the city, there wasn't a big graffiti scene. We'd be catching little bubble letter tags and really rudimentary stuff on like the trash cans behind Sparkles, the skating rink we used to go to, because they had a dance floor called the Launch Pad there where we would all break dance and stuff and get down when I was like 10, 11 years old. And my mom ended up working, going from a company called Standing Room Only, which used to book out the Omni Theater, big, huge arena shows and stuff. So she was doing the graphic design for them, and then moved over to the Fox Theater in Atlanta, which is owned by the Nederlanders. And they own all the theaters all across the U.S., and they own the Pantages Theater in L.A. So she put in a transfer to work at the Pantages, and she got that transfer. She was good at what she did. And so we moved to Los Angeles in the mid 80s, and I ended up at Walter Reed Junior High School, where David Van Gorder was going to
Are you
school
talking
at the
about
time.
this Walter Reed Junior High School?
Yes, exactly. I got that book.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna open it up. Although you look a lot cooler than me in it.
Yeah, man. And so we were in the same graphic design class with Mr. Menendez there, and it was dope because I was in there with Spy 1000 and Vision, who were both like, next level graffiti artists, and I was already scratching the surface of trying to get into graffiti art and what that really meant and the tagging thing. And when I saw what they were doing, I was like, oh, that's what it's all about, So my lettering style just went a whole different direction. My character drawing, was all, went a totally different direction, and my tagging style really went in a different direction. But
by the way, shout out
David
to the
Van
missus
Gorder
right here, Corin. Your ladies here.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Sabrina. She's watching from the other room.
Oh, well, she's free to
she's
join.
keeping an eye on me.
Yeah, she's free to slide right in.
Yes. My honey's always welcome. So David Van Gorder was in that class as well, and he was famous at the time for being Waldo in the Van Halen "Hot for Teacher" video, which was like a #1 music video and everything at the time. And I was like expressing him because my dad was also in the film business. He's a production designer, art director, production designer, and he had done. He was assistant art director on Goonies, and that was the movie that made me think, man, I'd like to become an actor too. Especially at a young age, because it looked like those kids were having a blast, and I had been on sets with my dad and seen how movies were made. I understood the sets and the facades and the wardrobe. I kind of understood it all, so it seemed like something exciting to me. Honestly, my first love really was graffiti art. That was my first thing that I was really passionate about. And then I got into this acting class with David because when I expressed to David that I wanted to get into acting, he was like, well, you should get into this acting class I'm in. It's called Center Stage LA. The artistic director was this gentleman named Kevin McDermott, who was fantastic. A fantastic teacher for young kids as well, because he used a lot of improvisation, which helped us to loosen up and not feel like we were trapped on the page or trapped in the script. And so I went and auditioned for his class, and I got accepted. I got a scholarship for a number of months, and then we did a showcase for agents and managers. And about 6 months into my studying there, and I landed an agency. Abrams, Rubaloff, and Lawrence are not around anymore, but I started auditioning right away, and I ended up landing the very first audition I ever went on, which was for Paul Ventura Casting, auditioning for a Suzuki motorcycle commercial that was the 1986 Suzuki commercial for the Super Bowl. So it was like a big deal. Yeah, it was rad. So I landed that, and then things just sort of launched from there. And at the same time, I was living in two different worlds. It was like being Bruce Wayne and Batman. You know, I was doing this whole acting thing, and I never told anybody. I didn't promote it around school. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing, you know, because I was a graffiti head, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I was, you know, in my life there at school and whatnot. And so I don't know how many people even knew I was an actor until much later, you know, because also I went by Joseph, you know, in school.
That's how I knew you, man.
For the most part. Yeah. And then in acting, I was Corin Nemec. And I don't know, you know what I mean? And I just rode different. It was different. So I don't know how many people were really too aware that I was living two different lives. They might have been wondering, like, where the hell did Joseph disappear to for the last 2 months, you know?
Right.
But,
I got to tell you, by the way, Corin, this chat is popping, man. And so I know you can't see the chat, but Sabrina can see the chat. So hopefully she tells you after. But we got Katso Nemec here. And that's funny because...
not Katso.
I know, I was watching...
Nemesis.
I was watching another stream you were on, and I saw Katso was in there, so I was like, "Oh, Katso found spine ticks." There you go.
Dude, Katso is my absolute favorite nemesis ever. I haven't had a nemesis that I've enjoyed so much in my life. In fact, when Katso first came around, like over 10 years ago, when Twitter was still Twitter, Katso got like banned from Twitter a couple of times because other people who followed me were so offended by Katso's posts, but they didn't realize that I loved it. You know, I have a very thick skin. I grew up in the age of bagging. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's when we grew up.
Yo mama jokes.
If you couldn't handle someone making fun of your mom or making fun of you, then you were not going to survive in the 80s. It was impossible.
Sure.
You were gonna go jump off a cliff or run into traffic. But because that's all it was, you know, it was bagging on moms and running from cholos, you know.
Exactly. And I know it's kind of small for you if I highlight the comments, but that's what I'm doing here. You know, we got a pop-in live chat, and at some point they're gonna have some questions for you. They're gonna be like, "Tell me everything about SG1." But yeah, I mean, like, because Corin, I've seen you've done a lot of videos, pre-records. You know, how do you like the live stream format where there's actually an audience here and they're feeding off what you're saying?
Yeah, I dig it. I wish I could see the live. I wish I could see the chat. You know, for me, it doesn't. You know, it's the same. It's the same. Sometimes I forget that I'm even doing a pre-recorded interview, and I kind of, you know, because it feels live anyway. Yeah. What's great about it is that in comparison, like I really stopped doing the interviewing, the kind of the talk show, you know, circuit when I was young, and when I was doing Parker Lewis and stuff, because it wasn't just pre-recorded, but it was pre-planned. You did a pre-interview, and they would hash out what the interview was going to look like, how the arc was going to be for it. They would force jokes in there and find some kind of, you know, humor for it or whatnot. And I remember this one time I did a pre-interview for, I can't even remember which show it was. I don't think it ever panned out because the pre-interview didn't go very well, because I was doing a pre-interview about My Son Johnny, which was this movie of the week I did with Ricky Schroeder. And it was a terribly depressing, sad movie, you know, about a brother who was abused by his older brother, and he ends up killing him, and he goes to court, you know, for it. Damn. He's found innocent, you know, somehow, but it's just a tragic thing. And we're doing and I'm telling him, you know, how sad this whole deal was. They're like, yeah, well, you know, was there anything like funny that happened on set? I'm like, funny? Did you not hear just what the movie's about? Nothing funny was happening on that set. I'm like, well, do you think maybe we could come up with something maybe that, you know, that happened that was funny? I was like, you mean lie? You know, I was like, nah, I can't do that, you know. And
I just had to change the backing music to match the solemnness of your story, you know, to pair with it. We did have a request from Sabrina to beatbox. Yeah, Sabrina said, make Corin beatbox.
Oh, good Lord. That's so cruel. I haven't done it in so many years. That's embarrassing. She's trying to embarrass me.
Well,
Let's see
maybe
if I
for
can
your.
do it.
Okay, well, look. Oh, here we go. Oh, damn. Yeah, that's good. That reminds me of Swag when he's reaching for his inhaler, but better. Like
Yeah.
his is not good.
I used to be better than that. That was it. That's called having beatbox since 1989.
Yeah.
And now it's 2025. So I know I probably sounded like I had emphysema and a kazoo in my mouth at the same time, but that's the best I can do.
Well, bro, that's how us old gangsters do it, right? You know what I mean? And so, like, let's talk about 1989. We were in the Valley, LA, and Eazy-E and NWA came out, and that was life-changing. I mean, for me, I'm still rocking the Raiders hat. Like, everybody thinks I'm stuck in 1989. All my posts are about NWA and Eazy-E, but I mean, Corin, you were there with me in that moment when hip-hop, I said we changed from new wave kids to little gangsters.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I went, that whole writing, tagging scene, for me, I started tagging in 85.
Oh, damn.
86 was when, we kind of started TBS, the Bomb Society, with the Van Gorders and Dapper and some other cats. And then I got into TDK, Those Damn Kids, and then JKI. When I was tagging Chrome, I started out tagging Extreme, and then I got busted for Extreme, and so I couldn't tag Extreme anymore because I got caught, and then I started tagging Chrome, and was down with JKI with Swift, and Swift was my man, dude. He was a cool dude, and we got up a lot, and then I started tagging with Esk from TCF, and with Pice and with Rage, and but. That sort of like, I don't know if you'd call it not preppy, new wave. I wasn't really new wave, but in the mid 80s, it wasn't all like, I knew dudes that were bangers who you would never know it. They were wearing like, dope pants and stuff. It wasn't like everybody was all like in straight up Dickies with their flannels only buttoned at the top, but that did become the dress code.
Well, I dug this one up here, the Poet Society, man, and you wearing the Detroit hat right there? Can you see that on screen? That's Jerron and Shane, a couple of my boys that I was real down with. Shane, actually, we ended up in a rap group together called Starship of Fools later. Nice.
With that we did a full album. We developed an album. We actually developed some of it for Motown out in New York, and our A&R rep for Motown got in a terrible car wreck, and she wasn't able to go back to work, and all the projects got shelved. So we never came out, unfortunately. But I did post the album or what music I had from it on I Am Corin Nemec on BandLab, and I think it's on SoundCloud too, but BandLab has a better mix to it. But so if anybody wants to hear Starship of Fools, you can check it out on BandLab. Just search Starship of Fools or my name, I'm Corin, with the letter I and M in front of it.
For sure. And you guys in the chat, if you guys got questions for Corin, start dropping them in there. Chat's moving fast, so we'll just try and get to them. Usually, Corin, this is the kind of show where, like, there's no other show like this where I read everybody's comment, everybody's part of the show, but realizing we have a little time with you tonight, that'll be after you leave. We're going to do our regular segments. Let's get to,
I appreciate that, man. I'll try and stretch it out for you as long as possible.
Well, and you're welcome back anytime, my bro. So, we got Parker Lewis Can't Lose, man. And I remember when we were going to school, graduated 90. We went to the same high school, but you left halfway through, and I stayed on with North Hollywood High. But I remember this dropped. At that time, I was about town, so I wasn't really watching too much TV. But this is a popular show, and I'm sure people in the chat recognize this. Now, my wife was, I think, 1 year old when this dropped, and her name's LadySithLordly. She's in the chat. I put on some episodes last night. She's like, oh, that's Mila Jovovich with Corin. So what was that like, man? You're leading your own television series, what would you like, 21? I mean, it must have been
No,
amazing.
I started working on the series 2 weeks after graduation is when we
19?
shot the pilot episode. So we shot the pilot episode in 1990, and then got picked up and shot the first season later in 1990. Or was it? Yeah, because the first season officially came out in 91. And so it was 91, 92, 93, the 3 seasons. But I actually, when I left North Hollywood High, I sort of had to, my life kind of depended on it in a couple of different ways. But I ended up at a school over in Hollywood with some dudes that I was really down with. Justin Warfield. He's from the band She Wants Revenge.
Oh yeah, of course,
he was
Justin
a rapper
Warfield.
back then, but he was Pice from TCF. We were in the TCF crew together and other things, and then Seth Binzer, Shifty from Crazy Town, was there at the school with us, and he was one of my boys that I ran with. And Balthazar Getty was a really good buddy of mine. He tagged Bizarre back in the day, and
Nice.
and ran with me and my boys, and a couple other people but also Mila Jovovich went to that school, and Soleil Moonfry and Jenny Lewis and Christina Applegate, and it was Johnny Whitworth went there as well, and it was a school, and Ernie Reyes Jr. was there also. It was a school for young professionals in the industry, that were working too much to go to a regular high school, So it was also just a hilarious place to go to school. So I actually went to real high school with Mila, and
that's awesome.
So doing the episode with her wasn't like that, far out.
Yeah, what'd she say? Even though we're just friends, Parker, you're still hot, or something like that. That was so we got some questions now popping in the chat, and I'm gonna try and get to them all. Christopher Works here. He was really excited that you were going to be on. He said, the syncing of the watches in Parker Lewis, my friends and I would do that when playing in games.
That's cool, man. Funny enough, we actually said synchronized swatches, right?
Okay,
and,
yeah.
And
love swatches.
We went to the Swatch Watch Company, and we asked them if we could wear swatches on the show when we do our synchronizing, and they said no, but you can say synchronized swatches. We don't mind that, but you can't use our watches in the show. I was like, that's the stupidest thing ever. So we still said synchronized swatches, but then you showed our watches, and there were these cheap knockoffs that looked cheap, and I was like, well, I guess if people, it was very weird, but we were sponsored by Adidas, and that was awesome, because I used to go down to the Adidas showroom over in Westwood, and I would just raid that showroom. I had all kinds of Adidas sweatsuits and every shoe you could imagine, and shirts and hats, and it was ridiculous.
That was the time to do it.
Good times.
Go ahead.
I see a question from Victor Gibson. Did you?
Yeah, I'm going to grab that. But Boring Girl said, second guy, Johnny Depp. We're getting some good trolls in here too.
Yes.
Thick skin. We love the trolls, like you said, Corin. We grew up in the age of bagging, because there was this great comment from Princeton Jaime who said, "Shut up." So thanks for that.
Yeah, I love that, man. I don't shut up. I throw up. Or what is it? No, I don't. What was that? Never mind.
We got the idea. Victor wrote a novel.
I forget what it was.
Yeah. But we'll take the first question, Victor. He said,
I don't shut up, I grow up, and when I look at your face, I throw up. That's what it was. Stand by me.
But you gotta beatbox and then rap that, you know what I mean? Victor Gibson said, did you ever play a prank on Christopher Judge?
Not really. I know that there was apparently a lot of pranks that went on in the first 5 seasons when I wasn't there. But, when I got there, I don't know if Christopher Judge played a prank on me when we had the boxing scene we were doing, and he really punched me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he was like, well, he wanted to see, apparently he told me later, because he was like, while we were doing the scene, he's like, I wonder how this guy's going to react if I really punch him. he wanted to see if I'd be all pissed off and act like a little bitch, and so he really hit me, and I just went down and got back up and just kept the scene going. He was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, well, hopefully our time in the North Hollywood streets prepared us for that, because I'm pretty sure.
100%.
I think you had arranged for me to have to face off with a guy in the alley behind McDonald's as part of my pirate indoctrination. So, but
that's probably very true.
Yeah, it was a little half-hearted, Anthony Chihuahua, shout out to you, a good friend. I already know the answer to this, but he said, I want to know where Corin got his early Corky nickname.
Yeah, I got it from my grandmother when I was a baby. I was born Joseph Charles Nemec IV. Yeah, I have all the Roman numerals and none of the aristocracy, I can assure you. And she just said, the term Corky was like used for someone who was kind of bubbly, a quirky kid, like unusual. So she used to call him, he's such a quirky kid. Oh, he's so quirky. And then that just stuck. And next thing you know, I was being called Corky. So I grew up being called Corky in Atlanta, and when I moved to LA in junior high there in 8th grade, they did roll call with my birth name because that's what was on all the official paperwork. And so I was so happy to not be called Corky anymore. I was like, oh, thank God, I've lost that that name. And then my buddies would come over to my house and meet my mom and sister, and they'd be calling me Corky, and they'd be like, Corky? I'm like, ah.
Damn. Well, that's
you, grandmother.
Like I said, in high school or junior high, even, you were like Joseph, and then there's Corky and Corin. It's like me, like my real name is Steve, but I go SithLordly, and then some people only know me as Spine Ticks. It's like, who am I? Got some more questions here. Nikki 2 times, who's actually on the Spine Ticks live panel, coming on later. He said, what actor did Corin work with that had him the most starstruck?
Ooh. That's a tough one, man. I've had the opportunity to work with some really, really great actors over the years. I think when I did a movie in the late 80s called Solar Crisis that really kind of flopped. It was a really huge budget sci-fi movie back then. Probably it was like a 50 something million dollar movie in 1989. Which is a really huge budget for that time. And it had Jack Palance and Peter Boyle. Wow. Tim Matheson was in it. He played my father. And then Charlton Heston played my grandfather.
Damn.
Nice.
And I think dude, I think that working with Charlton Heston was like, as a young, because I had one of my first jobs ever, really, that put me on the map was when I was 12 years old in the movie Tucker, and I was working with Jeff Bridges, playing Jeff Bridges' son, and being directed by Francis Ford Coppola, with Martin Landau and Frederick Forster, and just an incredible cast. So I'd already kind of been launched into a world of really well-respected, well-known actors at a young age. But Charlton Heston was pretty awesome. We got to go have lunch with him at his house. He invited me and my mom over, and we had lunch over there and got to know him a little bit. And we did a scene where he was like cupping me on the beach. I had like washed up and I was half drowned, and he's like, son. And I was like, I'm laying there trying to be unconscious. I'm like, dude, his breath smells like mothballs. What is this? I don't understand.
Oh man, that's hilarious. And thanks for sharing this on Twitter. I see a lot of names, and maybe that like S Slack or other folks who've popped in here. Corin, I got to do this. We're homies from the past. When you talk about projects that maybe you shouldn't have worked on, I've worked on a few myself. I don't know if you've ever done anything with adult babies, but I did the music for this.
I had to put my glasses on for that, bro. That was some disturbing shit, dude.
Well,
What are you doing, bro?
Like you said, right? Like you're an actor, you have to practice your craft, bricklayer and all that. I got, when people find me and want to use my music, you got to do it. Now, shout out to Marvin.
The only adult babies I've worked with were some of the actors who were just little pretentious bastards.
Oh, damn. Well, I got swag here. So Marvin Wynn is the ringleader and the head of Comicsburg. I was telling you about Comicsburg in Pittsburgh, the comic book guys.
Yeah.
And I know you do a lot of cons. So I did want to pop up one of his covers. So, me running Spine Ticks here, now and then I'll do collabs with these writers. And so this is Marvin Wynn's The Edge, and this is the Spine Ticks variant cover.
You sent that to me. That's what that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's dope.
And you notice there's graffiti up there. So I know you're a graffiti artist. If you so want to do a collab later on, let me know, because we could put graffiti on a cover with the fictional Spine Ticks band. You could be there beatboxing, and that's Marvin Wynn.
That's bananas.
Yeah, these are actually
a tragic story about graffiti, but
well, hey.
I had a fully filled, black book. It was like my hero black book, and it had, the whole thing, every page was just burners all colored in, everything. It was just dope. And a buddy of mine talked me into sending it to this to a publisher in Tennessee, in Nashville, that I won't say the publishing company's name, but to look at it to be scanned and turned into a black book you could buy. Right. And this son of a bitch left it out in the rain. He went to a meeting to show it to somebody and left it at the restaurant, and it poured down rain on it, and he sent it back to me fucking ruined, bro. I have it next to me. I can't even look at it. I haven't looked at it in years now. I'm still furious over it.
It's all molded together.
Dude, man. When that happened, I haven't drawn in a black book since. I do all my graffiti, because I still paint and everything, but I do it all just out of my head on the wall. I don't draw anything first. I don't, I just come up with the letters on the spot and just, come up with a color scheme and just go for it,
Yeah, one day I got the idea that maybe I'll tag as Doper, and then I met Doper, and I was like, okay, there is a Doper. So then I changed to Diablo, right? And then later on, you dubbed me Pirate. The chat is filled with vomit emojis after the adult babies.
Yes.
I thought maybe we'd chase some out, but you know what, Corin? We're pushing almost 100 live chat viewers here right now.
Wow, man, that's great. That's great.
And they're all interested. So we got more questions for you. Let me scroll up. Hey, Corin, you having a good time over here?
I'm always having a good time, my friend. Every day above ground is a good time as far as I'm concerned.
Excellent. Okay, so and the lovely Lady SithLordly is also communicating with me on all platforms to let me know how the show's going and who's asking questions.
Yeah, good.
I believe NPP had a question, so we're going to get to that. And okay, so National Parks Princess says, I have a different kind of question. I had to Google, and I saw that Corin was in a bad accident in 2013 while working on a movie. I was wondering how he felt about his recovery from his injuries. So hopefully we're not taking you to a dark place with that question, but that must have been something.
No, the pain pills I was on were fantastic, bro. I didn't feel a thing. It was great. It was I was down in Belize, and we were traveling out to a work site at 4:30 in the morning on a Belizean Coast Guard boat, which I figured would be like the safest way you could get there. And it turns out that it's kind of a narco state, and dudes, they get paid $10 a day to be in the Belizean Coast Guard, and fishermen can make 4 times that much a day fishing. So they don't get the best of the best out there on the water. And also, as soon as they get on these boats, they sell everything they can off the boat. So the boat had no searchlights on it, no sonar, no kind of radar, no nothing, but it had 325 or whatever, 275 horsepower, and those massive engines on the back, because they're out there doing business in them. And so, and you have to go at a really high rate of speed because it gets shallow out there because of all the keys and sandbars and stuff. So you got to stay at a high rate of speed so it doesn't bottom out in certain places. and we're just cruising along, and we hit an old boat wreck. It's like a diving site. It's like on tourist maps. You know, you can go out there and dive for the day, and these guys just crash right into it in the dead of night. And,
Oh my gosh.
And I got tossed across the boat, shattered my femur into 7 pieces.
Oh my God.
Thank God I was wearing skinny jeans, because otherwise the bones would have poked through my skin,
Oh, wow.
and I would have bled out and died. So skinny jeans literally saved my life. I swear to God, man.
That's
And,
what your wonderful
and
wife is saying in the chat here. Sabrina is chiming in with some added comments. Yeah.
Yes, she knows. She's heard the dark and dirty of it. But you know, to get quick to, you know, luckily they have it used to be British Honduras years ago, and they have like 250,000 or so expats from the UK that live there all year round. They had a private hospital there that was, you know, as far from a third world hospital as you can pretty much get down there. And I scored with a doctor who was taught orthopedic surgery in Canada and the US.
Wow.
And this guy with like, I mean, after my surgery, the x-ray of it, it looks like a birdhouse that somebody built in 3rd grade inside my leg. There's like all these screws and this, that, and bolts and pins. And I mean, he did whatever he could to put those 7 pieces back together again. Wow. With what tools they have down there, because they just didn't have, you know, the right stuff. So I had to go back to the US, and that surgery failed. So I had to go and have another surgery. They had to take all of that apart, basically pull all the bones out of my leg, put a titanium rod from my hip to my knee, and then pack all the bones back around it and wrap it in some kind of you know, wrapping that helps the bones grow back together. Because the danger was if the bones didn't reconnect with each other, you know, that they might have to chop my leg off.
Oh,
damn.
And they would have had to cut it off up at the hip, and I'd have just been, you know, that would have been the end. And so I had 5 surgeries in total, and it was you know, and I had to spend almost a year in hospitals and inpatient rehabilitation to learn to walk again and get my strength back and all the other things. And it's been it was a massive undertaking to get back to normal, but I was determined to be able to work as close to as I used to work, you know, before the injury, and not be walking with a strange limp or any kind of other thing. So I really put all my time and energy into it. And about the, you know, the pain meds and all of that, I stopped taking those as soon as I could handle the pain, because I didn't want to be addicted to pills. Yeah. So it was you know, but it was a tough road to travel, but it definitely made me a stronger person in the long run. You know what I mean? Having to get over something like that, it was certainly traumatizing though. And when I was able to walk, I did have a few beers, probably a few too many, but I sorted that out too.
Damn, that sounds like a lot. I thought my trauma from being on a stream with Swag was bad, but then I heard that story. We got some more good comments. Like when you said pain pills, you know, Joe Mansman #JustATick was like, "What pain pills? My back's killing me." You know, we got a great audience here, man. Fortunately for me, I have an allergy to acetaminophen, so they couldn't really. They had to give me the real dope.
Wow.
Okay, all right. Miami Vice over here. Christopher Works says, what was it like being the replacement for one of the main characters on Stargate SG-1, and did the crew and fellow cast accept you?
Yeah, the cast was fantastic. The crew was great. You know, had the character been like forced on them, had they fired Michael Shanks and then stuffed me in there and shoved me down everybody's throats, it might have been a different vibe. And also, it's not really for me to decide, but I feel like I'm a pretty laid back, relaxed, approachable person, and I'm not high strung, and I'm not all stressed out on set, and I'm not like, you know, a difficult person to work with. I enjoy the hell out of what I do. I'm blessed to be able to do it anytime I can, and I always go in with a with a great attitude about it, and I think that probably helped as well. But they were very welcoming. Michael Shanks had chosen to leave the show for his own reasons at that time, and he probably learned real quick that Hollywood it's a tough game, when you're not on as a series regular on something. And coming back to it, I'm sure he was very happy to be back on the show later on. But I had a great run. It was a great character that the writers created for me. I still stay in touch with Joe Malozzi, and I catch up with Brad Wright a little bit on social media and stuff. But Joe's a great dude, and I see the actors from the show at different conventions here and there. Me and Chris Judge hung out quite a bit, offset as well, and got to know each other, and we had a good time. He was a great dude. Don Davis I hung out with a lot. He'll be missed. He was an incredible artist, great actor, and a really great guy. But I was very blessed to be on that show. I had no idea about the whole convention circuit and the sci-fi world and the fandom and all of that stuff was I had no clue about any of it. I had never done any of those kind of conventions in the past. I had never had anybody representing me to do them. I didn't even know it was a thing, so it was amazing because I found myself traveling all over the world promoting Stargate. I mean, I've been down to Australia 26 or so times, and
wow.
And over all over Europe. And what was cool about it is that I never stopped doing graffiti. And I had gone into the more street art. If everybody wants to see my graffiti and street art, they can go to @the169 on Instagram and check out my stuff. It's just the word "the" and then the numbers 1, 6, and 9 @the169.
If someone could drop that in the chat for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, and so I would go. I'd go to all these conventions, and through the graffiti crew, TCF, the Chosen Few, and all that. We kind of branched out and became worldwide because we started accepting street artists and sticker artists and the slapheads and all that, and stencil artists. And me and my buddy Surf from TCF really in the early 2000s started getting back into started getting into the stencil art scene and doing stencil art that was a little bit more graffiti-esque, not just so artsy, but more graffiti-ish. I mean, I had a dope throwaway of my name in a stencil, and I do I had a self-portrait of me, like all, ragged up with my hat on, throwing up in LA and all that stuff.
There you go.
And that I would do, and a bunch of other stuff. And we started getting up pretty hard in LA, and it sort of was a revival for TCF, for our crew. And we're real big down in San Diego area and Tijuana. I was just down in Tijuana not that long ago. I got to paint with my crew down there a few months back. And we had crew down in Australia. I'd go down there and connect up with them. This guy Wonderlust and the Massive and Skull Cap and some other cats. And over in Germany, I'd hook up with our crew there. This cat Smile over there. And so anyway, whenever I travel, I'd go and do my street art. I'd extend my trip by a little bit, when I was doing these conventions, and go and paint and get up and put up street art and do stencils and do some graph and all that stuff. And it was a real win-win for me.
That's awesome, man. Swag, do you mind sending that link to Perchy?
Yeah.
And the questions are still coming, Corin, man. So I'm stoked you're here, and hopefully, if we don't get them all answered, you come on back for another one. We still got time.
Got plenty of time.
And Corin, if Adult Babies contacted you and said, hey, would you like to work on Adult Babies too? Is that a role you're turning down?
If they'll let me write and produce it, I'll turn it into a hilarious satire.
Okay, as long as I work on the music. Let me keep working on the music.
Yeah, totally, man. But I'm not going to play the adult baby. That's for damn sure.
Well, we got one right down here named Swag.
Whoa!
We got a question from two boys in their scary pop saying, Corin, if you work in a movie with any three actors of your choice from any era, who would make the list?
Definitely Christian Bale would be on that list. Daniel Day-Lewis would be on that list.
Wow.
I probably. Oh man, I just went blank. Is it
Balthazar?
Sissy Spacek?
Really, Sissy Spacek.
Is that the right name? Am I saying
Carrie,
the right name?
right? From Carrie.
She well, she was great. She did some great if that's the right name.
Yeah.
Those two actors just, I mean, they're so beyond the pale in terms of their performances. Christian Bale and Daniel Day-Lewis, those two guys are like, they just crush it, you know. But I've had the pleasure of working with some legendary actors over the years, even on lesser known films and stuff, and I couldn't be more blessed to still be doing what I love to do this many years later, both in acting and in painting. You know, I mean, I just did a really great mural for a local coffee place down here called Bel Air Coffee in the city of Largo. They're opening up a new coffee house there and roastery, and I got to do a rad the full side of their building, do a real rad mural of a coffee plantation scene and all that, you know, and I'm just stoked to be able to still be doing exactly the things I love to do back in the 80s when I was a teenager. I'm still doing the same things today in 2025, and it just feels good to be true to my roots and still be in touch with the cats that I grew up with from back then. I still, you know, get in touch with them when I'm out in LA, or we mentioned Doper, and I still talk to him. He's on the East Coast now, but I catch up with him and my homies from my graph crew. You know, we get together and paint when I'm out in LA, and like I said, I get to travel the world and get up and meet a lot of cool people.
Speaking of Doper, so you know, I gave you an off the record Doper story backstage. On the record, shout out to Doper because he got arrested backing me up. Do you remember Grubby's right across from North Hollywood High? That it was like a Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah. So a rival gang was coming at me, and they were like, you know, they're really wanting to brawl. So we set up this thing at Grubby's after school, and it was like 3 deep on either side, and Doper was backing me up. And the cook at Grubby's comes out with a butcher knife. He's like, "No fighting in here, no fighting." And then someone called the cops, and LAPD came busting into Grubby's, and everyone, you know, scrambled like cockroaches. But they got Doper, man, because I guess he had some priors. I myself, you know, I didn't throw a punch, so I got out. But shout out to Doper for backing me up, man.
Oh yeah, man, I'll let him know, dude. I'm sure he'll remember it very well. I was just rapping with him last week, and I'll definitely mention that. That to him. We were talking about some of the wilder times.
Tell him about
I remember the Winchell's. That Winchell's up on Laurel Canyon. Not Winchell's.
Was it Yum
what was
Yum
the hot
Donut?
dog place? No. I meant the Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
Der Wiener Schnitzel. There on Laurel Canyon up near Magnolia or whatever it was. That place was a hot spot, bro. It was just so dangerous to post up out there, and I got caught slipping up there one night. I was supposed to meet up with some of the homies, you know, and they didn't show up, dude. And I was like,
oh no.
And I got rolled on by like 15 heads, man. And it was just me. And and they were closing up for the night. So they had a trash can open, you know, keeping the kitchen door open. And I had to get away from these dudes, and I ran into the Wiener Schnitzel and kicked the trash can out of the way because there's no door handle on the outside. It's just flat, you know, with a key lock, so it automatically locks when it closes. I had to lock myself in Wiener Schnitzel, bro.
Oh damn!
To save my life.
That would be
I
funny.
also got a free hot dog out of it. Grabbed some fries out of the fry maker while I was in there. I was like, "Can I take you guys' orders?"
Parker Lewis can't lose. We got a question from my bro Lon, but first I want to flash this copy of The Stand. So, you know, Stephen King's The Stand, right, is like my favorite book of all time. And bro, you killed it as Harold.
Thanks, bro.
Awesome portrayal. So Lon Espinoza says, did Corin get to meet with Stephen King to get any insights on Harold from The Stand? Enjoyed his performance in the movie?
You know, Stephen King was Stephen King wrote the teleplay for it. He was one of the you know, obviously he was on set all the time. He also played a character in it too. he was around all the time. Originally Mick Garris, I had auditioned for him for Sleepwalkers a couple of years before, and he really loved my audition for that, but didn't think that I was right for the part. And when they got the role of Harold Lauder that came up, they were interviewing a lot of actors that fit the kind of physical description of the character from the book, and apparently they couldn't find anybody that they felt was really getting the character. And Mick Garris kept telling Stephen King, that he thought that I could be right for the part, and that he wanted to bring me in. And Stephen King obviously was looking at my, Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And, obviously I had a lot of dramatic roles. I got an Emmy nomination for I Know My First Name is Stephen. And I had done a bunch of other, very successful movies of the week with some great actors. I mean, I did one with Donald Sutherland called The Life Force Experiment, before The Stand. That was a wonderful TV movie. And finally, he talked him into letting me read for it. And when I got the audition, I read the character description. I was like, "What the fuck are they reading me for? Like, this is, I'm not. I mean, I can play the guy, but So I came up with the character and went in there and I did the audition. And when I left, Stephen was like, "Dude, you're totally right. I was wrong. You're right. We'll put him in a little bit of a chubby suit in the beginning. We'll have him lose some weight, and all that, and it'll be great." And so I was very fortunate, to get that job because it was the first time I had played a character that was outside the norm, for me as an actor, for the roles that I was being cast for over all the years that, I've been acting, including, Nikki Papadopoulos as Webster's live-in cousin back in the 80s, sharing a bed next to Webster. That was hilarious. Not sharing a bed. There was two separate beds. And we slept together. We were sharing a room. But anyway, but it was a great honor to get to play Harold Lauder and bring that character to life. And again, I mean, look at the cast that was in that. Legendary actors. It was an incredible experience for me. We were in Salt Lake City for almost 6 months filming that. And what a strange place that is. Salt Lake City is a weird place.
And you didn't convert to Mormon?
In the early 90s. No.
Shout out to our Mormon audience. We've got a great troll here that, Swag, you might be in some legal jeopardy.
Oh, let's go.
Kaiju says the guy on the bottom touched me in the back alleyway of a Family Dollar. So
well, he deserved it. He deserved it.
Corin, we got some more questions for you. And if you guys have been asking questions and I've missed them, this chat's popping, man. It's, we had over 100 here watching and commenting. So drop it again. I know I
have terribly long answers too. I apologize.
You know what makes my life easy, bro? Like we get the gangsta street stuff out in the beginning. I know Zach Sports Cards and Collectibles had asked a question about Hulk Hogan at your wedding. And by the way, I want to say I did watch your wedding clip because as I was trying to find clips of you, I found like it popped up Corin and Sabrina wedding, and there was a beautiful wedding on YouTube. So I don't. Have you seen that video? I'm sure you've seen the video of your wedding.
Yeah. I lived it.
Okay.
It was a magical day. I'm blessed that that I held out for the right woman, and it was great. I mean, I have two wonderful kids. I've only been married one other time. I only have one baby's mama from the past. You know what I mean? It's things have worked out very well for me, and I didn't try and dive into anything because I wanted to be there for my kids as best I could without getting involved in some other shit. And I met her, and it was I kind of knew right away, but we lived in different states, so it was going to be a process of figuring that out. But I kind of knew right away that there was something very special about her that I wanted to discover more of, and now I get to discover it every single day. I love you, baby.
There you go. Before we go further, one of our regular panelists, Perchy, has joined, and Perchy, meet Corin.
Hey,
Corin, what's up, brother? I'm so glad.
Man, just chilling, dude.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought up Webster. So I'm the youngest panelists here.
And
on the
Canadian.
show. And Canadian. I watched
It's hard to tell with that beard. A. Sorry, I forgot to put A in there.
Yeah.
That beard,
good.
A.
So I'm
Sorry.
so happy. No, you're good. It's all good. I'm glad you said it correctly. Sorry. I'm so happy that you brought up Webster because I watched that show all the time as a kid. So thank you for bringing that up because I was going to mention that.
You're still watching it.
Yeah.
You were also in Smallville. I know it was just one episode, but I love that show.
That
and then
was a good episode.
Yeah, you worked with Wesley Snipes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one too, man. On Drop Zone, the Drop Zone was a blast, bro. That was a great time. Me and Wesley actually became I'm not like close friends, but bro, I hung out with him quite a bit after that movie for a number of years after, for a good 4 or 5 years after we wrapped that film. Me and him would kick it and chop it up because we were both into the metaphysics. We're both into so-called conspiracy theories, which they've all come true now today. So
Conspiracy facts,
I don't know what to tell anybody, but I told you so in the 90s.
We watched the same podcast, I'm sure. We had a few more questions for you stacking up. Yeah, so I guess the follow-up to that was Zach, Sports Cards and Collectibles, want to know, what was it like to have Hulk Hogan at your wedding, man?
Look, I mean, if I hadn't grown up in the film and entertainment business, it would have been like a what, you know. But I'm used to being around individuals with celebrity and especially individuals with way more celebrity than me. I've never, the one thing I've never done is I've never chased fame. Hulk Hogan didn't have to chase fame. It just happened for him because of the character he created and the iconic, that iconic character of Hulk Hogan that he created, that Terry created over the years. And I think that what was cool about it is that it at least got my wedding talked about in the tabloids. I mean, it benefited me in that respect. He just had some really nice things to say. And it was nice to have him there. I'm not, it was, he was there because my wife and his wife, were friends, back in the day, and it just turned out to be coincidental that we're both in the entertainment industry when he showed up there, So it was great.
I like that Jess Law says all questions that are not answered will be submitted in writing by 5 p.m. Sunday, and Corin will have 24 hours to respond. Thank you. So you might have some homework.
Yeah, that will be $25 per question. I'll put my Venmo at the bottom of the screen here.
One of our we do comic books, we do sports cards, we do it all. Matty Ice Cards here asking a question about one of my favorite actors because I love the mafia stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Ray Liotta? He was one of my favorites. Goodfellas.
Yeah, it was great. I wish he hadn't been sober during that time period. I would have liked to have known the drinking Ray Liotta. He's sorely missed. God bless him. It's unfortunate he left us too soon, as many people have recently. But we were over in Thailand for 5.5 months, roughly. Over 5 months we were there. And I think that working with him and Danny Glover and Dennis Leary, Dennis Leary was that's the guy that I got stories about. I mean, everybody else was so reserved and normal and stuff, and Dennis is just like a character, bro. There was when we were up in Mae Hong Son, Thailand, which is like right near the border of Myanmar. I mean, I have stories for days about making this movie. It was, I mean, insane stories. We could do an entire show just on the making of Operation Dumbo Drop, because we like started a border war by accident between like Thailand and Burma, or Myanmar as it's called, now. And anyway, we were way up there in Mae Hong Son. There was like a bird shit town in the middle of the mountains and the jungles. It's only known for its like 12 Buddhist temples that surround the city, which was pretty rad because I'm into Buddhism. But our hotel we were at was like the only nice nice hotel that was up there. The rest were kind of, you know, but he had drank the bar out of Jameson within like the first 2 weeks. They didn't have a bottle of Jameson left in at the hotel, and he was just so upset about it. I mean, every morning in the makeup trailer, I had to hear this diatribe of how they didn't have Jameson. What kind of country doesn't have Jameson? I mean, I come here, it's Jameson. How come anybody not have Jameson? They got Jack Daniels, they got this, they got that, they got it. And I'm like, well, if you hadn't drank it all, they probably still have some. So I was so tired of hearing about it. I was like, look, I went out the whole town. I scoured the town. I went to restaurants. I went to the other hotels where the crew was staying at. They didn't carry Jameson there. I went to the only big liquor store in town, and I made them like look everywhere. I was like, no, you have to look again. You have to look again. And I could not find a bottle of Jameson, and you know, in the whole freaking city. And apparently it was going to take like another 2 weeks for them to get their new shipment of booze up from Bangkok to replenish the hotel bar. And I was like, I can't go another 2 weeks listening to this guy complain about not having any Jameson, you know. So I'm walking around the town. I'm all bummed out. I'm like, I didn't succeed in my mission. I'm walking by the exact same liquor store that I had gone and forced them to look everywhere for. And they had this big display in the window of all these bottles of everything they have. And down in the bottom left corner, just barely poking up above the glass, like from where the shelf of, you know, the wall line is, was the green box for Jameson. Like I recognized it. I was like, there's no way there's a bottle in there. I mean, these guys searched everywhere. It's got to be an empty box. So I went in there and they had to pull out like 15 bottles to get to it, you know. And sure enough, there was a bottle in it. And I was like, it's God's intervention here, you know, to bring some sanity back to things. And so I got a bow and I slapped the bow on there and I went back to our hotel, and his room was way at the end of this hallway. So I go down to the end of the hallway, I put the box there, and I knock on the door and I haul ass down the hallway and hide around the corner. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just waiting. And there's this super long pause. And I suddenly hear the door open and I hear the chain go kink. So he doesn't even have the, and I glance around the wall of the hotel there, and I just see this hand come out and grabs the box, and it just disappears back in the room. It goes clunk and shuts, right? And I'm like, okay, that was some weird shit. So the next day I'm sitting there because I've now established a big mystery sandwich, you know, and I'm waiting for him the next morning to rain praises on whoever brought him the bottle of Jameson, right? He's like, you know, all this time I'm waiting for Jameson. Some ghost, some specter left a bottle outside my room, and you know, just go on and on about it. And I'm just sitting there, just because I wanted to relish in what it was that I accomplished. He didn't say a word. He did not say a damn thing about it. Didn't mention it once. Not the next day, not the day after that. And I'm talking like, because we were there for over 5 months, like probably 2.5 months, almost 3 months goes by, and I haven't said anything. And he hasn't said anything, and I'm like, this son of a bitch, you know what I mean? And so finally, it's eating me up. It's just eating me up. Like I can't take it anymore. And I walk into the makeup trailer one morning, and I'm sitting there, and he's over there in the next chair, and I'm like, I said, Dennis, you know that? And before I could say anything else, he goes, yeah. You left me the bottle of Jameson. I saw you through the peephole running down the hallway. And I was like, why didn't you say anything? He goes, because I just, you know, I didn't want to give you the benefit of, you know, the pleasure of, you know, knowing that, you know, and all this. I was just like, it was so funny. He was a great guy.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And I wonder, like, when that bottle's up, like, what's he doing? Are you repeating that? What I love about what we're doing, Corin, is we're doing this vertical, which means YouTube sends us traffic beyond the subscribers. You know, so like, you know, like nice. Zays09 is like, hey guys, new here. What are you talking about? Listen for 15 minutes, have no clue. You know, so Corin, you're getting an audience in here that's beyond the Spine Ticks audience. YouTube is just sending us people, and some of them may like it. Move
to the middle of frame then, if we're vertical here.
There you go.
Like, you're only seeing half of my face normally. Yeah, see if we can.
So there we go. Now I'm in the middle. Love that. I know we got more questions, and dude, stay as long as you want. I know you said about an hour, so you let me. We're at that time.
We're good. We can keep wrapping.
Okay. Do me a favor though, and give me like the 5-minute warning so I could bring the rest of the crew on so they could just say hi to you as you're leaving. You know, so let me know about that. Two Boys says, How much did Goonies impact your life? And did you ever get a chance to visit the areas they filmed? And I'll add to that, I knew how much you liked Goonies, and that's why I used the Goonies font on the thumbnail for you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. My wife noticed that. She was stoked on it too.
Love
You
the
know,
Goonies,
because
dude.
my dad was the assistant art director on that, and he designed the whole ship and the interior of the cave and the slide systems and all that stuff. And he was just telling me about it. You know, that I was going to love this movie and whatnot. I didn't get to go out and visit him while they were filming or go on the sets. I did go out and travel out there a number of times during my summer break from Atlanta, and got to go on a couple of sets he was working on. Like he was one of the set designers on the Series V, you know, and he was a set designer on Xanadu. I got to go to the Xanadu sets and some other ones, but I didn't get to go to those sets. But it was that particular movie that inspired me to want to become an actor at a young age. You know, I wasn't forced into it. You know, like I said earlier in the story, it was David Van Gorder. It was the synchronicity of the fact that he was in a legitimate, you know, acting school for young adults, Center Stage LA. And I had the right teacher that brought me out of my skin, that you know, I was already an artist. I was already quite a quirky kid. And so it was a natural progression for me to fall into acting at that age, with both of my parents in the arts and entertainment business professionally. My original plan was to go into design work like my mom and dad. My dad was originally an architect before he got into set design. And and he became a production designer. I mean, he was a production designer on The Abyss and Patriot Games and Terminator 2 and Twister and a whole bunch of other films, The Saint, The Shadow. I mean, it just goes on and on. He's, you know, legendary production designer. So, it was a natural progression for me to get into the arts and entertainment business.
I do. That sprung something to mind. But first, Abdul popping in here thanks to YouTube and says, "Oh, super cute, hot, sexy man." So we just have to acknowledge that from Abdul.
I really appreciate that.
Oh, he's talking about you. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
You guys should get in a beard fight. We should like take your two beards and and stitch them together, and then you guys can Anyway,
I had the beard and I shaved it just recently. I did want to add, because you mentioned your mom worked at Capitol Records. And I sent an email that I actually worked at Capitol Records as well. And Capitol Records is what actually led me into the music business and ultimately as an artist on albums too. I worked at Capitol Records there in 1995. I had just graduated from college with a psych degree, and I was like, I don't want to be a psychologist. And my neighbor was an art director at Capitol Records.
Yeah.
So I was like, bro, you got to get me in there. So he got me in there working catalog publicity, Pink Floyd, Frank Sinatra, the Beatles.
Rad.
And I was there, and then, from there I pivoted into artist management and went into other stuff. What year was your mom there, at 1995 or earlier?
No, she was there. She was at the Pantages Theater with the Nederlanders from 85 to maybe 87, 88-ish. And then she moved over to Capitol Records, and she was there for maybe 3 or 4 years, possibly somewhere around there. But then they started going. They had already, even at that time, started modernizing their graphic arts department and using computers and different types of systems to do the design work that my mom just didn't feel like playing catch up on, and so she ended up going into entertainment management. And I worked with her for a while as well, and she represented a few other people. And then she went into representing voiceover artists at a voiceover agency for some years as well. Now she's semi-retired in North Carolina, chilling out, enjoying the cold, rainy weather.
Excellent. Well, we have a comment and another question. I appreciate the questions, guys, because you're making my life very easy as we're just having a great time. Matt268, who's a great friend of the channel, says, Corin still looks great. I watch Parker Lewis, can't lose when Fox growing strong. Not a problem. So we got compliments there. Lord of Brooklyn, and then I'm I'm gonna get you Logic Blaster after. I think I know the answer from another stream, but he says, Corin, what stars were worse in person than you could have imagined?
I guess it doesn't really matter now. I mean, honestly, almost every actor I've ever worked with over my entire career, really I got along with and were really really cool people. Even the ones that weren't that easy to work with for the directors or the producers or whatnot. I always got along with. But the only person that really I was like, wow, this guy's a piece of work was, and I can't even remember his freaking name, but was from CSI Los Angeles.
Okay.
Oh no, those two, the parents on. Oh no, the parents on Webster. They were diabolical. I mean, they were terrible people. They were absolutely awful people. They were mean to everybody. Yeah. Well, they used to be married in real life, and I'm not saying that they weren't all that at some point in their lives they probably that they might have been cool and decent people to be around, but they were married in real life and got divorced during the show, but still had to work together and hated each other. Wow. And I mean, they hated each other, and they would get into terrible arguments on set. They were mean to everybody. They were mean to the directors. They were mean to the rest of the cast. They were mean to me. They were mean to Webster. They were diabolical people, bro.
I know.
It was a miserable experience as an actor to work on that show. Honestly, it was a misery. I was like, oh, if this is what it's going to be like, I don't ever want to do this again.
But no one could tell because we enjoyed that show. Logic Blaster, he says, Corin Nemec, do you have any interesting experiences from working on Supernatural?
I mean, ultimately it was I like to think of myself as a professional, so I just go there. I don't really try to, stir things up or anything like that, or to make a scene or to, do anything that's outside the box of like what needs to be shot that day, When I was on Parker Lewis, we played some funny, I played some funny gags on some of the people while we were there. But that was after having been on the show for a while. And there's a couple other ones there were some pretty funny gags that were played on me. But on that particular one, the only funny thing that that was going on with that was Jared and Jensen had these two little miniature like Kawasaki rice rocket motorcycles, you know what I mean? Like they were tiny though. They were like the little miniature ones, and they had them parked right outside their Winnebago doors and whatnot. And so the stage was only maybe 25 yards away from where their campers were, where they would change and do all their thing. And every time they would come out, they would get on their little fucking motorcycle, and they look like bears at a circus, They get on this tiny motorcycle, crank it up, and drive 25 yards to the entrance of the stage, then kick the kicks on it, and then walk onto the stage. And when they finish their work, they go out, get on their little motorcycle, drive 25 yards to their... I was like, what is going on here? Is this... I didn't understand. I'm like, is this funny? Are they serious? Is it... Because nobody said a thing about it. Like, nobody reacted to it. It wasn't like, oh, look at these guys. So I couldn't figure it out. I was like, couldn't they just get a golf cart?
Bears at a circus
and then
is
it
a good
turned
visual.
Yeah, man. It turned out later on, I guess, later that same year that I was on the show after I finished up my run on it, later that same year, they were apparently banned from it because they started having mini motorcycle races around the lot, the studio lot, and the studio owners and also the insurance companies didn't appreciate that very much.
Liability. Yeah, Swag's got some things in his contract that he can't do because I need him on the show. He was telling me he injured his hand. Yes, definitely shave. I can't imagine him with a full showing chin. S Slack is asking, ask Corin to talk about Place of Bones movie, lots of twists and turns. And this is opposite Heather Graham, right? And I think Nikki was also interested in that.
Yeah, that's a recent one that just came out this past year, late in the year, not too long ago. Again, like I said, fortunately, I'm so blessed. 2025, been in the industry since 1985, 86. is when I got my SAG card, and to be able to, you know, not go a year without doing, you know, some work that I'm proud of, or at least just some work, you know, is a
Adult
huge
babies.
blessing. And I got that film because I did a role in a movie. He's become a buddy of mine, but a producer named David Lipper. He produced a film called Joe Baby a couple of years back that I did a role in down in Mississippi with Harvey Keitel and Ron Perlman and Deacon Lockman were all in it. And I had a relatively small role, you know, maybe 4 scenes or so, but they were very, very specific scenes and very necessary scenes. And even though they were relatively, you know, short, you know, a couple pages, not, you know, I manifested a character that was very well rounded, had some very interesting moments, you know, and he was like, wow, you know, that was cool. And so when the role came up for Calhoun in Place of Bones with Heather Graham and Tom Hopper, it's like I have to equate it. It's kind of like oh God, what was the movie, the Stephen King movie where the guy is held captive, the writer's held captive in the house.
Misery.
Yeah, Misery. It's like Misery meets Hateful Eight. You know what I mean? if you can picture that. And it had these scenes that were just, as an actor, so magical because they had so much room to breathe. There was so much opportunity to be a character and to live in this character's skin and really, like, you know, organically behave. And the director, Audrey Cummings, was just a wonderful director who really allowed me to find that the cadence to the character and to introduce some, you know, some lingo. I didn't like change dialogue necessarily, but I changed the lingo, you know, and tried to find something that just felt old timey. And I went through and I had actually written another Western a couple years before, a year or two before, called Dead Man's Hand, that was based on a graphic novel that was put out by Source Point Press that Brian Skiba directed, that starred Stephen Dorff and Cole Hauser. And I did a lot of research into cowboy lingo, how they talked back then and all this stuff. And I was like primed and ready to play this role. It was just a really, I ask everybody to watch Place of Bones. Go and check it out. Find it on the platforms that it's on. You can go to placeofbonesmovie.com and it'll list where you can see it. It's a fantastic kind of dark thriller, but also has some elements of humor to it. I won't say comedy, but humor to it that comes out of the situational the situation the characters are in, and the character that you know the characters as they're developed by myself and Heather Graham and the other actors. But wonderful film. Was super stoked to be in that movie. One of the rare movies I've done over the years that I've watched it probably 6 times myself because I love it that much. You know, other films that I've done, there's some I've never watched for good reason.
I hear you. And no eating bananas in the scenes like in SG-1.
Hey man, that was an iconic moment. That was a really iconic moment. Honestly, it was the scene was me and Teal'c sitting in a spaceship having like a 6-page conversation, and I was like, dude, this is gonna die on the screen. It's like, what do I do? I'm just sitting here, you know. I'm like, Teal'c's used to just sitting there. He doesn't do anything, you know. And I was pacing. I was really stressed out about it, and I was pacing by the craft service table. For people who don't know what craft service is, that's like the snack table on sets. They call it craft service. And I was pacing back and forth, and I looked over, and there was this big fruit basket there with a bunch of bananas on it, and I was like, a banana in outer space. Jonas is sitting there. He's on the ship. He whips a banana out of his pocket. No dialogue is changed. You know, nothing happens like that. I don't mess with the writing. And he just pulls this banana out, peels this banana, and says the dialogue, does the scene, eats the banana. At the end, feels like, oh, I should offer him a banana too. Whips out another banana, silently offers it to Teal'c, so I'm not adding or changing dialogue, and then you get Teal'c's reaction. Perfect. And fortunately, David DeLuise was directing that episode, and he's got a great sense of humor. He's a really approachable dude, and I was like, he's one of Dom DeLuise's sons.
Yeah.
And I was like, so David, I mean, I know this is going to be a hard sell, but hear me out. Banana in outer space. And, and I explained to him what I wanted to do. And he goes, banana in outer space. I like it. And that was it. At the conventions over in the UK, there was actually a fan group called the OJBs, the Order of Jonas's Banana. And they would show up to all the conventions over there in these brown hoods with these brown capes on, and I'm like, I don't know where the brown hoods and capes came from. They look like Jawas, and then they had like OJB written on the back in yellow, either yellow paint or they'd sew yellow letters on there, but it said OJB on the back. And they would go from one con to the next, and I'd see them every time I'd go over there. I'm like, this is the strangest yet coolest thing I've ever experienced.
It's the cult you created. Well, Banana in the Tailpipe worked for Eddie Murphy,
Whoa.
So why not
It did.
Banana in
The old
Space?
banana in the tailpipe.
That's right.
It's not how you want to wake up in the morning, I'll tell you that.
Swag's got that down.
Whoa.
We got a few more questions. I wanted to ask you though, in your acting coach time, had you ever heard of an acting coach in LA named Bobby Chance? Does that ring a bell?
The name does sound familiar. I've worked with a number of really wonderful teachers from after Kevin McDermott at Center Stage LA. Then I worked with Terrence Hines at his workshop out in Burbank for a number of years, and I was over there. Me and Stephen Dorff were classmates at Terrence Hines as well, with some other great actors. And then I worked with John Lenn for a little bit, who was a fantastic. I worked with him privately, doing character study and stuff like that. And then I was at Larry Moss's school for about a year and a half or so while I was filming Parker Lewis. But I was so busy, I just couldn't keep up, because I always wanted to be in acting classes. No matter how busy I got, it was important for me to just do the work. You know what I mean? And to play around and to remember what it's all about, being in class, paying for it, paying to act, and then after I finished up Parker Lewis, it was, about a year and change after we wrapped in 93. I was like, dude, what's going on, man? There's something wrong, and I was hanging out with my buddy Ernie Reyes Jr. And I was talking to him about it. It's like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel the excitement I used to feel when I was doing this. And he goes, oh, well, you should come to this acting class I'm in, American Repertory Company, this teacher, Manu Tupo, and come and audit the class. And I was like, dude, that's what it is. I haven't been in an acting class in like almost 2 years, and I had always been in a class, and I went and audited Manu's class, and was just I wrote a book based on his acting technique that I published recently, called How to Create a Character for the Stage or Life, that you can get on lulu.com if anybody's interested. It's about the new era acting technique and what I learned from studying with Manu. I won't get too deep into the weeds on it, but I started studying with him, and immediately I was like, this is what I was missing. This is where I was feeling hollow inside. This is where, I had an emptiness. I wasn't, studying my craft outside of auditioning and being a professional actor, and I ended up studying with him until 2005 when his diabetes got the best of him, and he just wasn't able to teach anymore, and passed away, which was tragic loss. But my son's middle name is Manu, named after him.
Wow.
And he was a huge mentor and a spiritual, powerhouse in my life. He really changed the whole dynamics of my relationship to my own self as a character and the universe and spirituality and all the things. It was a very deep experience for me. So love acting classes, but I'm not familiar with that particular guy.
Yeah, Bobby, she's done a lot. And
sorry. See, that's how unfamiliar I am with it. Hey, she could be a guy these days. Who knows? I don't know.
Could be. The funny thing was, I was working at Big Five Sporting Goods right across from that McDonald's you and I used to hang out and tag at. And she came in and she was like, "Hey, you got the look. I want you to come to my classes." So, I was always a music guy, never an acting guy. But I was like, let's do it. So I go to the class and, you're doing the exercises and there's a lot of ladies there, right? There's some scenes. And, I went back and I told my normie bros, I'm like, yeah, I went to this acting class and there were these girls there and they were all like, girls? They were like, how do I get into this acting class? So they started calling her office, right? And she just found me. She doesn't know me. And they'd be like, yeah, hey, my buddy Steve, he recommended this class. And Bobby Chance was like, well, I know Steve, he's got what it takes. So if he's recommended you, then come on down to this class. And so all these guys were going there just to do the exercises with the lovely ladies. It was pretty funny. There's some other stories we'll talk about in a part. I was wondering if you had encountered her. We got Barbariana, who was the maid of honor at our wedding, and she was asking, who's your favorite comic book character?
Comic book character. That's a tough one. I mean, the comics that I was into growing up was really just like heavy metal magazine. My mom had no idea what I was reading. I'll tell you that much. She's like, "Oh, those are rad pictures." I'm like, "Yeah, you have no idea." A lot of nudity in this book, Mom. But I would say in terms of artists, I mean, Frank Frazetta was like very inspirational to me, also Bodie was I was really into his stuff, the Red Assassin and some of his work, but I didn't mainstream comics and stuff like that. I wasn't that caught up with. Now, my favorite animated superhero was Super Chicken, but that
Super Chicken.
Super Chicken that was my shit, dude. If I could be a superhero, it'd have been Super Chicken, no doubt.
We, Barbariana, who's the maid of honor at our wedding, Colonial Governor was the best man at our wedding, and he says, "Is Corin a Mason? Looks like he's wearing a square and a compass."
Oh. No, I'm not. I am. I joined my grandfather and my great grandfather on my dad's side, and my grandfather on my mom's side. They were all Masons, and I grew up, just knowing that and hearing that, and then in the early 90s, when I started getting into the conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff, I kept hearing like Freemasonry, Illuminati, and all this. I'm like, dude, my granddads, they weren't in the freaking Illuminati. Those guys, there's no freaking way. Like, what is this? I don't understand this correlation between, what they were doing and what they're saying and this whole thing and the New World Order and what the hell is it, and I was like, let me just read some books written by Masons about Masonry, and I talked to my grandfather, on my mom's side. I wasn't very close to my grandfather on my dad's side, but on my mom's side, I was very close with him, and he filled me in on on the fellowship and what it was really all about, and just taking a good man and making him better, and then I read some books that were written, especially Manly P. Hall's books. That's what I was just showing earlier, The Lost Keys of Freemasonry by Manly P. Hall. This book is like, oh man, I mean, it's a short little tome, but every single page of this is like blow your mind shit, and some other books, Albert Mackey and a few other writers. I got quite a library, and when I started reading the philosophy, I was like, dude, this is like the raddest philosophy I've ever come across in my life. This is like who wouldn't want to, learn more about this and join a fraternal order that, supports, being an upstanding, patriotic man. You know, that sounds like a cool idea to me. But I was down in San Antonio, where I was kind of living on and off for a while in the late 90s. That's where my daughter and my ex-wife were living at the time, and so I got a place in Texas because I didn't want to raise my kids in LA. I was like, dude, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? Ixnay on the LA raising your kids situation, and
Leave
both
that
my
to
kids were raised
SithLordly.
in Texas. Yeah, dude. SithLordly, I guess as it is nowadays, right? But you know, so the kids were raised down in Texas, out in the suburbs of Houston. But it was a much smarter move, I can tell you that. But so I was down in San Antonio though, where we were living for a short time, and I did a lot of photojournalism back then and stuff, and I would take photos of my actor friends, this, that. In fact, Mickey Avalon, the rapper Mickey Avalon, his first album is one of my photographs that I took. So I just go around taking photos of my buddies and stuff, the record label liked it so much that they used it for the album cover, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick.
But I was down there taking photos. They have an amazing ziggurat style Masonic lodge in downtown San Antonio. Beautiful building, incredible architecturally, and they had a little Masonic museum in there. So, you know, I went inside, checked out the museum, talked to this old past master named George, who was, you know, working in the museum. And we just chopped it up. I was there for like 3 hours just chewing this guy's ear off. And he's like, dude, how are you not already a Mason? You know everything about it except the handshake. Like, what the fuck, you know? And I was like, well, I just never, you know, I never really approached anyone. I didn't really have any personal friends or whatever. So he set me up with a couple of brothers who were more into the esoteric side of it and into the more philosophical side of it. Because there's some brothers who are just more into the fraternal kind of side of it, you know, hanging out, having dinners and
wearing
talking shit. But yeah, oh no, that's the Shriners. But you have to be a Mason to be a Shriner, but it's a different organization. But they do great work though. They do great charitable work. And so I met with a couple of my brothers, Roberts and Bruce, and Bruce has been my mentor ever since. And did my 3 degrees in 97, 98, and 99 down there at the Perfect Union Lodge, number 10 in San Antonio, Texas. And I've been a traveling man ever since. But the other cool thing too is I've in traveling, you know, around the world doing stuff for film and television and whatnot. I get to also go and visit, you know, I get to do my graffiti art, my street art, do some autograph signings, meet some rad people. And then I go and visit the local Masonic lodge down there and like check out the library, get a private tour, meet some brothers, you know, have a chat. And that to me is pretty rad too, you know, but, I you know, there's a big misnomer there thinking that the Blue Lodge Masons have anything to do with New World Order and Illuminati shit, dude. If I was a part of that, I'd be like on top of the world, man.
Yeah.
You know, but no Diddy for me, bro. I'm sorry, I'm a no Diddy dude.
Shots fired. Well, I want to show you something since you brought that up. Colonial Governor and I, we are members of over 50 hereditary fraternal societies and orders, some of which have been mentioned in those Illuminati type of videos. I'm in several of them. I had to
like
kind
Rosie, you're Rosicrucian or something, or
there's we'll talk backstage. You'll probably like a lot of these.
Look, long as you're not in the Golden Dawn, we're good, bro. If you say you're in the Golden Dawn, I'm hanging up on you right now.
You're in a safe
that's
space.
That's what the real freak show is.
A Colonial Governor. I had to back off of a lot of this to do spine ticks, but you know, George Washington was a Mason, as you may know, and I just happen to have this with me. So this is actually the Society of the Cincinnati. That's my bloodline membership.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, at the end of the Revolution, the officers decided to form a fraternal order.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. With it.
And the ancestor has to be an officer, and there can only be one bloodline descendant of that officer. And I managed to get in through the Virginia Society. So
that's rad.
Quite an honor for me. I got my buddy Colonial Governor into, I believe he's in North Carolina, So yeah, Corin, we'll have to talk, because I'm in several of these groups, and if you're interested in some of them, I may have the pathway in for you. I have to write the checks all the time. Colonial Governor comes in here, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot to write the yearly dues to this or that. But yeah, man, when I read about your interest in some of that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I click with this guy on all levels. Not only did we run the streets back then, but now we probably have a lot of similar outlooks. This chat has been going strong, man. We had some strong support the whole night, and
I love it. I love it.
trolls out
Thank you,
there,
everybody, as well. Thanks everybody
Yeah.
out there for being here with us, man. That's cool.
When you get a chance, you can see the presence of everybody, because I know you can't see the chat now. Sabrina can, because she's in there, and we're still good to have you as long as you want to be here. Want to be respectful of your time. You let me know.
Yeah,
if we
let's
still
go.
got
Let's go another 20 minutes, or let's do another 20 minutes or so, bro. Why not?
Heck yeah, let's do it. We did have a question from Collector Holic, and Swag, you're supposed to be my guy in the chat too. Anybody else that we had missed?
Yes, I was going back and forth with Kaiju, and then he got
Oh yeah,
muted from
yeah.
the chat.
Kaiju, your accuser, because apparently you wronged him.
I tried.
I've got to scroll way back, so if you guys have more
Yeah.
questions, just go ahead and drop them in there. So Corin, it sounds like you got a great partner in Sabrina, just like I have with Lady SithLordly, right? I can do none of this without Lady SithLordly. And do you have any plans? Like, is Sabrina going to be in any of your upcoming productions, or are you guys collabing?
Yeah, I mean, we had a project that we were producing together not that long ago called The Shutdown. It was a romantic comedy that takes place during the COVID shutdown and whatnot, and allowed for a little bit of breathing room but unfortunately our primary, one of the people who was bringing half of the money to the table, unfortunately dipped out on us at the last minute, and we had to go back to the drawing board, but she was fantastic in helping to get that off the ground at the time, and certainly we'll be doing some stuff together, in film and all of that down the road. She's an extremely busy woman, I can tell you that. She's got a lot of stuff going on. She does, besides being a real estate agent, she also has a whole resale business that she does with like a lot of high-end fashion stuff and all of that, vintage fashion and
Nice.
purses and shoes and dresses and all this stuff, and has like an Etsy shop and all of those things. I don't know enough about that world, because it's but I see her all the time. Like, I got these you can't see me now, but I got these mannequins in my office and stuff, and she like dresses them up and takes photos of them and posts them and doing all this stuff. And sometimes she does a live stream about it, and talking about the stuff for people so they can get a load of what it is that she's she's selling. The garage is like it's like a thrift store. The garage is. I don't know. It's terrifying to go in there sometimes. It's like a pack rat. But
she's got mannequins. Swag's got blow up dolls.
She's very
Whoa!
It's all related. Here's the question.
Yeah, and that web
Collector
series
Hall.
I was doing with the web series I was doing with David Faustino in around 2008, Starving, on Crackle. We always in his living room on the show, he always had a blow up doll on the couch. It was bizarre.
Oh man, that must have been great, David Faustino. And
we've done some
remind me to
movies
tell you my
together.
Brian Austin Green story. But Collector Holic says, Corin, were there any movies you were asked to be in but turned down, and if so, why? Adult babies.
I'd say that the one that I really kicked myself in the ass was the one with good God, what's slipping my mind? Jason London's the big movie with him that's good Lord, I wish my wife was here. She'd tell me that it's a huge cult hit. Dazed and Confused. Jesus.
Oh,
I was
damn.
Dazed and
No
Confused,
way.
man. So me and Balthazar, me and Balthazar Getty, we were really good friends, and we both got offered the movie at the same time because they knew that we were really tight, and we're going to play the two roles, the Jason London role, and then the other character who was like one of his best buddies in the show. And the original script for Dazed and Confused was just terrible. I mean, unreadable. It was no offense to anybody, but it was a bad script. And so we were hanging out at my house together, and we were reading this thing, and he's like, "Are you going to take the offer?" I was like, "Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, and I'm like, "Are you?" And he goes, "Well, I'm not if you aren't." I'm like, "Well, I'm not if you're not." And so we're like, "I guess we're not doing it." And so we both turned it down. And then it turned out that, once all the actors got down there in Austin, they got together at the hotel in a conference room, and they completely rewrote the whole script. Wow. And they brought all of this stuff to it that wasn't there, and the actors got to put their input, and they created scenes that weren't in the script and all that. And it turned out to be one of the most iconic movies, of time, of our time. And it was McConaughey's big introduction, and there was so much that the script was nothing like what came out in that movie. Nothing. So that was one of the ones that I turned down, and I really, really shouldn't have. But still, had me and Ball got it, it may have turned out to be a piece of shit. So they're lucky, whoever they, what I mean, who knows? But whoever they got to, when they brought everybody in, they gelled so well together. And also, I didn't have that long, beautiful hair like Jason London had. They would have had to put me in a wig, and he already had that beautiful 70s hair. So it worked out great for him.
Wow, you could have done more than just slipped out a banana without altering any dialogue. You could have had a hand in it.
That's right.
Swag, you got you've been taking my insults this whole time. Do you got a question for Corin?
Corin, I got nothing.
That's why he's the perfect wingman. But Perchy, the bearded Canadian, how about you, man?
Yeah, no, I think something really stood out when you were talking about Manu and how he really kind of guided you through, and he was a really big mentor. When I was in high school, I was in drama class and radio and TV, and that's kind of been my passion ever since. And my teacher that I had, convinced me to go out for Grease, the musical, and I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's not me." And she's like, "No, seriously, I need you to read for 2 parts." I said, "No, I'm not going on stage." She's like, "You're fine, you're good." So I think that really resonated with me when you were talking about him, because she encouraged me to go out for it. Although I didn't get any of the main roles, she said I could be in every scene, and I did, and I had the best time of my life. And it's a memory that I cherish, and we stayed friends after high school. She unfortunately passed away at a young age of 51, but keep her in my heart. Our theater at our old high school is dedicated to her. So one of my daughters got to meet her, and so that resonated with me. I think that's really cool. But yeah, no, you kind of answered it about Webster, and I said, I was a kid then, man. So I love that.
Yeah, the musical thing, the musical thing was, is never, because I can't carry a tune to save my life. I've never been able to sing. It's never been my thing. I did do the rapping, the hip hop scene and the rap. Our rap album, Starship of Fools, is rad, dude. It's actually a really, really good album for its time. And but they wanted me to audition for Rent in the mid 90s or so, or whatever it was, around 96 or something like that. And I was like, no. And they're like, dude, come on, it's Rent. I mean, this is gonna be huge. You're gonna be on Broadway. You're gonna be sorry. I'm like, guys, I can't sing. And they said, yeah, but it's more like talk singing, and you know what I mean? It's like, you should really go on this audition. And I'm like, I just don't think that it's a good idea. I just, I can't. And so I got talked into it, and needless to say, I didn't get the part. It was a very quick no. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, we understand why he didn't want to audition for this. We totally get it. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Well, going back to Bobby Chance, right? So I finished the acting school, and then 2 weeks later I get a call, And they're like, yeah, are you Steve, your last name? And would you like to come in for this audition? I'm like, okay. Right. So I go in and they look me up and down. They're like, well, you don't look like Santa Claus. And I'm like, well, you're the ones who called me. Right. And then they're like, well, we got nothing for you. But, over here, how about blonde stoner? And I'm like, I'm not blonde. They're like, no, just go in there. So I go in there and they're like, okay, pretend that your hands are cookies and you're high and you're eating them. So I'm sitting there doing, and I think the whole thing was a setup for that bad Christmas party reel. Like, here are the worst auditions, right? There's me out there eating my hands like they're cookies. Meanwhile, some support from the wife here. Sabrina says, horrendous voice, poor man. But you got the beatboxing
I
down.
sing around the house quite often, and I don't do it because I know I sing good, but I do it because I like to sing to my dog. Okay, I got a cute little corgi, and I sing to him. I can't help myself.
Yeah. I was going to mention. So on this show, regular programming, this is called Spine Ticks because that's a comic book term. But I have a segment called Spine Pets where we feature all the pets of the community. And I'll usually run a reel and things like that. So I noticed you had a corgi. Now, poor Lady Sith and myself, we lost our senior pup this week, which was tough.
That's a huge loss.
Yeah. It was tough. And actually tonight, Spine Pets will be like the last thing I run and end show because I don't want to come back after that clip and be crying on stream. But yeah. So let me. We talked about Doper. Do any of these other monikers resonate with you? Cisco, Stranger.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Cisco. I got Cisco into tagging, man. That was
okay.
Cisco was Capone's younger brother, and we started, me and Seth Binzer, who he tagged back from CBS crew, and we started a crew called TUG, the Underground, which became TUGK, which became UGK later on. And my corgi just came in.
Bring the corgi on.
And
let's go.
And Cisco, we would take Cisco out when he was like maybe 12 or so. We'd roll out with him and he'd get up and all that, and we kind of put him on game early in the day, and then he just became legendary, all city. Just one of the most up dudes next to Chaka for a while there.
Chaka. How about Stranger or Lisa, who hung around with Doper?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That was Demon's sister, and Stranger was a good friend of mine too. He's a pharmacist now.
Really?
And a legit pharmacist. Not like someone in a trailer park somewhere,
on the street,
creating their own, he's pharmaceuticals. He's a
Walter
legit
White
pharmacist. And, yeah, exactly. But go ahead. Anybody else?
Well, I was going to say that Stranger, Lisa, Tim were all in the vehicle with me when I ran afoul of the law. And what had happened was, at that McDonald's that you and I hung out with, there was a flyer, and it was like 10 keg party, come to this street. Well, what we didn't realize was the LAPD had created that flyer. And when we pull in, it's a one-way street and crash units out there with the flashlights, and you can't back out. So your boy SithLordly pull in, and I got the crew with me in the car, but I was the only one that got detained, shall we say, and taken into the station. But they were all with me, and so I was kind of reminiscing, where are all these people now, and this and that, and that's when I reached out to you because we hadn't talked in forever. I'm like, Corin kind of got me into this, and you were great because you just replied right back, and we picked up. And National Parks Princess, she says entrapment. We had to hire an attorney. I had to part my hair in the middle and go to jail, go to court.
Yeah, there was no, you couldn't claim entrapment in the 80s. It was a whole different ball game back then. You were lucky if the cops didn't just billy club you and leave you in an alley back in the 80s. You were lucky if they arrested you. You're like, oh, thank God they're arresting me.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is they're gonna sort you out a different way and say, you're lucky we didn't arrest you. And you're all beat up and banged up and like, a cracked spleen, whatever. You're like, oh, yeah, thanks for not arresting me.
Yeah. Well, as they were hauling us away from the one-way street, 4 deep in the car, be like turning, oh, you know that guy? Yeah, I know that guy. It's like we're socializing back in the back of the car. And they're like, shut up back there. We get to the station. We're in Van Nuys. And man, the LAPD was busy that night. The whole crew, they're all chain gang together. They come walking in all like cuffed and like legs chained together. And, I was under 18, thank God, by like 2 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, those 2 years, I would say, with NWA and Eazy-E and kind of the tagging and you and our friends in Stoned Out Gangsters. I mean, like that gave me some street cred. I'll say that.
Nice, man. Yeah, it was, just growing up in that whole world. I was talking about it on a documentary. Actually, I did an interview for David Faustino's documentary he's doing about Ballistics, that rap club that he used to promote in the 90s, in the early 90s out in LA. And I was just talking about the culture of it. Really the graffiti scene, the graffiti crews, every graffiti crew has a relationship with a neighborhood because someone from the graffiti crew is in the neighborhood or, associated with it and all of that. And that's how it was for me in TCF. A couple of the cats from TCF were in G's back in the day and out of Hollywood and all of that. And so then I ended up getting to know those dudes. And then, it was really about backup. That's you know how it was back then. Yeah. It was like if you didn't have backup, if you didn't have dudes who had your back, LA was even the Valley, San Fernando Valley. People would think, oh, it's San Fernando Valley. You're like, dude, no. San Fernando Valley was gnarly in the 80s. It was like, especially if you were going to go to a house party. God forbid you showed up at a house party with some couple of schmucks who can't, who won't have your back, couple of rankers,
Right.
It's like, I can't tell you the kind of stuff that popped off at those damn house parties, bro. They were nuts, dude.
Well, that's why the Spine Ticks panel, I kind of run them hard about loyalty, right? Because I grew up with that, right? Got to have my back. And like these guys will tell you, man, I still have that kind of that old gangsta mafia mentality with my boys here.
100%, dude. Yeah. I do with my friends as well.
And Swag, speaking totally of, you want to send a link to the guys so they could pop in here and say hi. I'm going to ask you, Corn.
I got you.
Oh, there you go. Is that Theo?
That's Theodore Corgivelt.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
We got a Spine Pets right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Were you the one, I forget, that had, do you remember the name Bonnie Bray Criminales, BBC?
Yeah, of course, bro. I knew some of those cats. I used to hang out with the Magicians Club as well, really deep, and then Burbank Elmwood Reefer and Young Boys Reefer and some of those cats and but Bonnie Bray, that was a deep set, bro. It's like right off of MacArthur Park, like gnarly neighborhood down there.
I ended up getting tagged into that set, man. And I was always wondering, was it you or who? Like, I think it was me and like Ryan Chalmé or, somebody else that were.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah, man. And hopefully for you, Corin, this is like, like everyone asks you about the acting and all the other stuff, but we get to talk about some of the old school stuff there that hopefully is more of a deep cut for you.
Yeah, it's a trip. I mean, like I said, I still, I always kept it real. I hung with dudes that I grew up with, no matter how well my career was going or whatever. I would still hang out with my boys, and we would kick it. And we might have gone from change from kicking it in parks and all of that stuff to hanging out at the Formosa or the Dresden Room or or one of the Formosa was our spot, bro. Any given time in the early 90s, there'd be like 15, 20 deep at the Formosa. No one wanted to go into the Formosa when we were there.
For sure. And I've slowly multiplied the gremlins down below. We got Nikki 2 times, and we got actual big SG1 fan there, Logan. These guys are part of my
Logan.
Yeah, my normal panel, and he's got his wonderful wife Tiger, who actually wears a skull mask. I wanted to bring these guys in, just at least so they can get a hello into you, before you gotta
Sweet,
pick
man.
off.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap it up here in 5 minutes if that's cool. It's
Yeah,
almost
for
1
sure,
o'clock
man.
here.
Yeah, I mean, and I just want to preemptively say, man, it's been an awesome time. The chat has loved it. You brought in some people. YouTube sent some people like Abdul, who's fascinated with Perch.
Got some trolls.
Logan's
I
what's
love
your name?
the trolls. God bless the trolls.
I know. Swag got accused of inappropriate touching. We had a great time over here. Logan, you being an SG1 fan, did you have a question for Corin?
The only one I had put it in the chat, but there was a lot going on, so I didn't put it up there. But when you were on that show and Michael Shanks came back, was there ever talk about you staying on as a 5th SGC member like Vala did later?
The original talk was my character potentially spinning off onto Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, that would have been cool.
In fact, originally that's why Jonas Quinn was kind of introduced in the first place, because they were only supposed to do that final season. The season 6 was supposed to be the last season, and then they were going to spin off into Stargate Atlantis. But Sci-Fi Channel just made them a deal they couldn't refuse and wanted to keep SG1 going for longer. So they made a deal, and their concern when I first came on the show, before any episode ever aired, they were dreading the idea that they're spending all of these millions of dollars per episode, like 2.2 to 2.6 million per ep, and God forbid people don't watch it because they don't have Daniel Jackson on the show anymore. And so even while I was on the show in production, before any of my episodes had aired, before anybody had seen them, they were getting so much blowback from the fandom for not having Daniel Jackson anymore, that they had started negotiating behind the scenes to bring him back. And that's when they were working out, to do more seasons. So unfortunately for me, once they did negotiate him back into it and made whatever deal that they made, and informed me really late in the game, they did bring me back for a few episodes in 7, and I got to do the story for one of the episodes, which was pretty rad. And but then they kicked the can down the road for Stargate Atlantis, and didn't make it right away. And by the time they circled back to doing Stargate Atlantis, they just decided to go with like a whole different cast. Yeah. And Jonas just sort of got shelved and just disappeared into the ether. It was a little strange. I will admit, it was a little strange that they spend that much time developing a character and creating a character, and then just to have him go back to his planet, never to be heard from again. And then in one of their movies, they blew up his planet.
Michael Shanks were really cool too. Michael Shanks seemed to get along really well on set. So I don't know why they didn't.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did. It was, there was never any animosity whatsoever. I mean, like I said, I'm a professional. I keep a great attitude. I got no ego about it. It was a blessing to have been on the show for the amount of time that I was on it. And Michael's a good dude. He was a generous actor. He was fun to hang around on set. He was a talented guy. He had a good attitude, and we got along really well, and sure, it's certainly more could have come of it, but hey, what am I going to do about it? I'm just an actor.
What are you going to do about it?
I was.
Well, Corin, we'll have to keep in touch. Like, for instance, if you want into the actual Illuminati, with me and Colonial Governor, we'll get you all the invites.
Bro. What people don't realize is if they did their history, they would find that Freemasonry, at least Blue Lodge Masons, it's the arch enemy of Masonry is the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Illuminati that was trying to infiltrate Freemasonry in the late 1700s in order to, try to take control of it, because Freemasonry was so good at making good men better, and patriotic men as well, and spiritual men, and men that believe in God and have a spiritual spine to them, and won't bend and fold under the pressure, of people who are trying to use compromise to get them to do their will. And so And to this day, anything that has to do, if there even is a fucking Illuminati, I know people just throw that word around, whatever they want to call themselves, whatever the cabal is that is running things behind the scenes by using compromise to get people to do their thing. It's none of my boys, and it sure as hell ain't me, and it'll never be me, because that don't fly in my book,
Yep. We'll definitely, there's a lot of patriotic societies that me and Colonial Governor are involved with. So if you're interested, we'll talk. It was great talking about the old heads, man. And,
brother.
When you talk to some of them like Doper and them, we'll see. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I'll tell him what's up. I'll send him the link to this as well. He'll be super stoked to have gotten a shout out.
He and I both had repercussions from that association. I was actually writing like a hip hop album about all of those experiences, and exactly the party I met Doper and all that. So, man, it's just been an awesome time. If you want to come back on anytime, you just let me know.
Absolutely. We'll definitely do it again. I got some cool projects coming up down the road here that'll be worth talking about. Also, real quick, just to put it out there. So Place of Bones, placeofbonesmovie.com, Place of Bones, great film with Heather Graham that's out. Another movie I did that's just come out recently is called I Feel Fine. It's on Apple TV and Amazon Prime, I believe. And that's a wonderful, it's a sad movie. It's a wonderful movie. It's about teen suicide and all of that, but it's very well done. And I got a wonderful character in that. And I got another movie coming out later this year called Myra. That's going to be very cool. I play an assassin in that. And a number of other films that I can't remember the name of that are coming out too. But hell, just go to my IMDb, look it up. But please check out Place of Bones and check out I Feel Fine. Those are the two most recent ones that I have out.
And Corin, go to my IMDb. You'll see Adult Babies and Cannibal Suburbia.
I can't do it. I'll just on that note, on my YouTube channel, me and my buddy did a short film called Killer Baby. That's about a guy who takes a baby at a park because he thinks it's going to help him get pick up chicks and stuff like that, and the baby turns on him and murders him. And and so it's an anti-kidnapping statement, which I was totally behind, but it's Slasher Baby. That's what it was called, Slasher Baby.
Death by Baby. Nobody wants that on their tombstone.
Yeah.
No, I get
it's adorable. It's totally stupid. I assure you, it's really not worthwhile.
Well, Corin, if you ever want to come back, you want to launch any projects, launch anything, that new that you're working on, you got a place over here on Spine Ticks Live. And
nice.
What I'm going to take,
guys.
I'm going to take this hangout. I'm going to chop it up into parts 1 through whatever and upload that to the main Spine Ticks channel as well. So we'll get double exposure.
Yeah. Please just send me all the links and all that stuff
so
I can flash them out on my different sites as well.
All right, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate Sabrina also hanging in the chat, and we'll catch up later on the other stuff.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay,
yeah. And anybody out there, you can come and find me at I am Corin Nemec on all the different platforms. I keep my label the same. It's the letter I, the letter M, and my name, Corin Nemec, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on whatever else. So I'm out there, and definitely check out my graffiti art and street art on @the169 on Instagram too, if you're interested.
All the links are in this video's description, so you can just click there.
Dope.
Nice.
All right, Corin. We'll catch up later, bro.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Catch you later.
You bet. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
See ya. And then now we're a Lego brick again. Here we are. Corin's like trying to figure out, how do I get out of here? I'm trapped forever.
He froze.
Yeah, he's frozen. That's great. Corin's here for the entire show. Man, that was a great time. I appreciate all you guys in the chat watching, and thanks for hanging in there as we didn't do the whole live chat shout out in the beginning. We only had so much time.
Well, we could do that every week.
We'll get back to that, but let's go ahead and do some of our segments. We won't do pick one of three, now. just because of time.
Yeah, it's late.
But our theme was, in honor of Corin being
Yeah.
here and Stargate, and we were going to do like, other space cultures, whatever, things like that. So let's go ahead and get our cover themes in.
Cover themes. Cover themes. Cover themes. Cover themes.
Cover themes. Dan, Tiger, Nikki, Logan, I'm glad you guys could join us here.
That was a great interview. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was great. Yes.
I think it was kind of like a hangout, because he and I kind of we kicked it back in the day. Lucifer Morningstar says, "I love your mask, Tiger." So you got Lucifer on your side.
Lucifer.
Yeah. There you go. We got Chilo in the house, man. Chilo and our Jurassic Chaos in the house. Appreciate you guys being here. Jess says, "Go back to the beginning of the chat." I think that's gone now.
Yes.
Rudini, I miss him already. Yeah.
Shout out to everyone. You guys are awesome. There we go. We're done. Let's move.
Yeah, let's move on.
Guitar Guy 100 says Tiger is the coolest one. So Tiger popping in here already winning all of the appreciation.
Guitar Guy.
Cool.
Swag, you were rocking with me there. You did a good wingman. Let's see your two covers that were.
Oh my God, Dan, are you paying attention?
X-Men, Shi'ar Empire. Is that what you're doing?
Dan, are you paying attention? What?
No.
This is the back. This is the back of the comic. So what would be the front? Dan.
X-Men. Oh.
What would be pretty cool.
What would be the front? It would be this.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Hey, look, it's Perchy on the front. Perchy and Logan and Dan.
Perchy's trying to kill me. That's Worf. This is Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Told you he's a badass.
That's all three of us right there. We're gonna get you, Swag.
Yeah.
You
didn't think I had this.
That's good.
That is dope, man.
No, I didn't.
And to go along with that, I mean, you can't just have one.
Oh,
so
you went all Star Trek.
Okay.
I went all Star Trek.
Oh, look. His DC colors are showing.
DC for dopest comics.
Now, Swag, I was going to show Star Trek 2, except I couldn't find them from the last time I showed them and put them away somewhere.
You see that? Sith goes, starships.
That's right.
There, we got
there you go.
Dan, do you see that? Do you see the Star Trek that I've got that I'm showing?
You went out of your way to impress me, didn't you?
I did. I'm like, what books would Dan love? He loves Star Trek.
You've succeeded.
You know who else is impressed? Logic Blaster, because he's the Amigo Star Trek master.
Hell yeah, look at that.
We got a cool gamer in the house. What's up, cool gamer?
Hi, cool gamer.
That's what I got.
Look at Dan. It almost looks like you dressed fancy for this show.
Right?
I had a long, interesting day. We don't have time to get into it, but this is Old Man Dan outfit. Okay,
Old Man Dan.
I see your beard. Yeah.
And I'm even having to keep it quiet because my wife just went to sleep in the next room, so I don't want to get in any trouble.
Can you go in there and stream from the bed?
Hell yeah.
Boy, you are asking for man. What?
By the way, for Tiger, I Purple You says my boyfriend says he loves Tiger's mask. So
Nice.
I think there needs to be a mask on every show. Look at these comments.
Yeah. Good job, Purple You.
I like MPP she's been cussing a lot more as of late. I think she's getting comfortable with us. She's all Mason shit is interesting.
Somebody take the bottle of alcohol.
Swag, are you listening?
I'm watching. I'm watching.
I counter your Star Trek with my Star Trek.
Okay.
With a cat. I love Data's cat.
Data
Cat
and
ladies.
Spot. There you go.
I love Data's cat. Spot.
There you go.
Nice.
But that's the one of them. But you know me. I have to go back to the conventional me, and I had always loved as a kid the Incredible Hulk versus the Abomination as they fight in space.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
That qualifies.
Nice, Dan.
Yes.
Hulk 137.
Dan, are you growing a goatee?
No, I'm just lazy.
Okay. Let's get my man Nikki 2 times. Nikki, did you enjoy that hangout?
Oh, immensely. I think I might even watch Place of Bones tomorrow. That
Okay.
really
Does
good.
that anything to do with Heather Graham and her personalities?
Yeah, definitely. Roller Girl.
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you got to show us tonight?
All right, so let's make it 3 for 3. and show my Star Trek.
Okay. All right. Look at that.
And my second
I saw
cover,
that one in the dollar bin.
I'm going to actually read this out first. Faster than light, he flies into the outer void.
Oh, Silver Surfer. Okay.
Nice.
I considered that
Very nice.
Nikki just wants to know where you're placing your bone. Is that what you were saying?
Oh, yeah.
Heather Graham.
That's hide the salami.
He's Italian. It works. All right, let's get and Logan as an SG1 fan. Did you like getting at least a little FaceTime there with Corin to ask the
That was
question?
pretty cool. Thank you. I appreciate
You got it, buddy. I wanted to make sure when you can't usually bring a whole panel on, but I can kind of bring you on, sneak you in a little bit, and at the end, you're all on. So
cool.
it's like boiling a frog in water.
Yeah.
I counted your Silver Surfer with Silver Surfer one shot before the second series.
Okay,
It ran
challenge.
over 140 issues. This was just a one shot, but it's an awesome cover for Silver Surfer.
Sweet
That is
cover.
nice.
That is cool. His
Adam,
leg
I
is
appreciate you
through
being here,
the-
buddy.
Through the board.
And then, of course, I had to do some Avengers. It was my favorite.
Yes.
Avengers cover.
Oh, cool.
Love that cover.
My Captain Marvel. Forget the new one.
Mine too. Yeah, it's like a
That's my
painted cover,
That's cool.
and a nice Black Knight on there too.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Heracles.
All right, let's see. Did you raid Logan's collection, or do you have your own?
Of course I did. Part of his collection is my collection.
It's our collection.
That's
I
right.
had comics too when I met him, and they just
He sold them for GI Joes.
I did.
Yeah, most of them did
Bastard.
actually. But he does still have some of my comics, and I also did Star Trek, but I went a different route. Here's Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Okay.
I love DS9.
Well, I picked this one because it's got Ferengi. I know that's your favorite.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ferengi is. I would be a Ferengi. Yes. Gold press Latinum.
So there's your Ferengi ship right there. And then I have a special. It's a four series limited series. Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, okay.
Rocket.
Sweet.
What you remember, Logan? We were just talking about that when we were kids. That was like a throwaway series, and then when Guardians came out, that
yeah.
shot up in price.
Yeah.
Rocket
So
Raccoon's
here's
I
the
got
second one,
Awesome. Nice.
and then here's the third one. I'm gonna do what everybody else does. Here's the third one.
It's just you doing it now.
Yeah,
Swag's waiting for Tiger Stories.
I know.
Right? Tiger Tails.
Some
Okay,
some berries.
and then here's the fourth one. So we have the whole 4-issue limited series of Rocket Raccoon.
Nice. I have to address something in the chat that I saw, and Adams reminded me. Luka to the Lakers, man, that is awesome. But
What?
who are they giving up? That's what I want to know.
No,
Let me know who
that's
they're giving
fake.
up.
That's got to be fake.
Well, Renee must be sad about that. Her
Renee's
mams.
gonna jump.
All right, so who do we got? We got Perchy, myself. Is it just us? Swag, you showed something, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he
But
showed
I already
Star
forgot what you showed, Swag.
I started the
He
Star
showed us
Trek.
DC.
I've been talking for 2 hours. I'm tired. Swag, what's your name, Perchy? Did you
What's
have to
your
buy
name?
this, or did you have this?
No, so we've seen this one before. I was having a hard time. I had 4 that I could choose from that I wanted to go with, but I'll just, it was a good
Oh, sick.
space background on the
That's
official
awesome.
Marvel Index.
That
Seems
is
like
nice.
the Fantastic Four are in space quite a bit. I have a few Fantastic Fours, and this one we haven't seen. This is part of my pickups. They came from outer space. Spores.
Okay. Spores. That's awesome, man. It's like whores, but it's spores. Okay, so I'm reading. They gave up Anthony Davis. Wow. So Anthony Davis was just
Who
telling
hurt
management.
himself.
Yeah, first of all, he is always hurt, but he was telling management, he was like, we need some more stars over here
Well,
on the
they got it
Lakers.
now.
And now he's out. Damn.
I can't
Well, I will say, yeah, he is often injured. But so is Luca, it seems like. So yeah, DK, let me know who the other guys are. I would like to know. All right. I went a different route.
Is that true?
Swag, Dan, remember when we had Edgar Rice Burroughs' creative team on the show?
Oh
Yes.
And you remember John Carter of Mars and Deja Thoris. So
yes.
How about this cover here?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Holy
Yeah, everybody loves half. Oh no, that's mostly naked. Mostly naked space dudes.
This one's for Swag right here. There you go, Swag.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for thinking about me.
So, do you like this cover?
You gotta show them man thighs.
Held on by tape.
That's one. Now, this was a graphic novel, but it's also pretty cool. Warlord of Mars. So,
Oh, very cool.
Oh, nice.
kind of like a nice painted cover.
Who
Again, for Swag.
walks around like that? How do you get those
Nice.
attached? Is there like
Pasties.
sticky things that make them attached? I mean, you know. I'm
I
just
like
wondering.
pasties.
Like, how do they stay attached there? Do they fight in that book? Like, do they stay on while she's,
That's for
bouncing
Swag.
around?
Whoa.
Maybe taskers.
Hey, what's going on there?
I like the other character better.
I like the other better.
So, Sith,
All
this
right.
is the greatest night ever because your boy Swag just became a Lakers bro.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's right.
I don't
That's
know how
right.
the Nuggets didn't get Luka then.
We're also going to get Joker on the Lakers.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
what are you gonna do
let's.
for a center now. That's crazy.
Well, there's guys. Let's get into our honey hole.
Honey hole. Honey hole. Honey hole. Honey hole. Honey hole.
Honey.
Honey hola.
Honey, hold on.
Did I read that right? They gave up Max Christie. Damn, I like that young player. That sucks.
Max
I'm
Christie, first round.
glad I didn't.
Wow.
I was gonna pick up his PSA 10 rookie, and then I was like, well, glad I didn't, because he'd be a Maverick now. Damn, I like that. That sucks for him. He was pretty good talent.
Sorry, Renee. The Mavs have officially thrown in the towel.
Well, Luka's going to be partying in LA, so that's pretty cool for
100%.
him. All right, so we're gonna do this honey hole segment. Logan has prepared a 30-minute song for us. We'll end with Spine Pets, and then hopefully all my homies here will stay backstage for just a moment, including you, Dan. So let's start with Nikki and see what you picked up this week, my bro, from the honey hole.
I got just 2 items to show. I was mad that I didn't have this last week because they didn't have this particular cover. But I went to a different LCS.
Cheating on the LCS.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Issue number 3 of Justice League Unlimited.
That's nice.
I really like this artwork. But what's cool is like when you open it up, it still has the regular cover on the inside too. So I like that.
Oh, that's cool.
By the way, Nikki,
also
apparently Logan said something very controversial in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Rudini said, I tried. Oh, I don't want to be on record saying that. Yes, you could just read it.
Yeah. Don't say that out loud.
Hey, by the way, we got Schizoid for you. He says, I told you guys I'd be back the next week. Thanks for the content. Hey, Schizoid, thanks for popping back in here.
Nice.
We just had a fun hangout with Corin Nemec, the actor in many things, including Stargate SG-1, but thanks for popping in. All right, go ahead, Nick.
all right. So I was supposed to have 2 slabs, but I don't know what the hell's going on with United States Postal Service. But things are running really slow these past couple weeks. But I did get one of them. So
Okay, we're gonna guess, or is this one you already posted on Shorts?
Is this Eagles?
Basketball.
Sixers, Maxi.
There you go.
Yeah. Do I know my boy or do I know my boy?
Another Maxi, and I jumped up from 7th to 6th on the registry.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
That's a sick card, dude.
Dude,
Making
Maxey
moves.
was
I like the background.
tearing up the Nuggets last night.
I mean, 40-some points last night. LaMelo Ball and him are the top 2 guards of the East points, and neither one of them are in the All-Star game. Go figure that.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maxi's gonna get traded to the Lakers. Will you still be a fan?
Nah.
I mean, I could be a fan of Maxi. I don't know about the Lakers. I like, I like Luka a lot, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like the Lakers.
That's what I'm talking about, Nick.
I think he thinks that's sweet, Nikki, but you're not his type. Yep.
Sweet as candy, baby.
How about this night? This has been a pretty fun night here
Yeah,
with all the stuff going on.
I like this.
Swag. As long as Swag's happy, we're all building a better world for Swag.
Sorry, not reading out the chat. Sorry.
All right, let's get Logan up here. Let's see what you picked up this week.
Didn't really pick up anything, but we're taking a look at another module this month on From the Hill. We're going to look at this solo adventure.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Ghost of Lorraine Castle.
By the way, Logan, can you shout out Logic Blaster? He's about to take off.
Hey, Logic Blaster, you take it easy, bud. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
But this is like this module. The whole adventure is inside a giant stone lion.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but we'll take an in-depth look on.
And there's no controversial hooded figures in this module.
No,
Uh-oh.
just creepy heads and whatnot. You know?
Creep, i.e.
Yes, there you go. Silhouettes.
Nice. And that's going to be tomorrow night after Nikki?
No, it's going to be later on in the month. It'll be on. Look real quick. It'll be on the
calendar. He's got a calendar.
We don't need the exact date and time.
I don't
He's got
remember.
a spreadsheet. You know,
100%
Logan's got
has a
spreadsheet.
calendar.
Yeah, it'll be on the 15th, Saturday, before Spine Takes.
Okay. Did you go live, by the way, today, Logan?
I did a Techno Viper video. It was
Yeah, I
pretty
saw
cool.
that.
Okay. I think probably because you have so many notifications going on, I didn't get that one.
It happens, but
Okay.
I try to do something every Saturday.
You were
I was
probably
there in
watching
spirit.
Barry. You were watching Barry.
Yes. Tiger with the mask. What you got going on?
I'm digging the music. I didn't get anything new, but I thought I'd share my favorite snack with everybody. Here you go.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Making me hungry now.
Right?
Those are
wasabi. They're wasabi.
Wasabi
Wasabi.
Cheese nuts.
These nuts are for you. Oh. Anyways, yeah, I haven't gotten anything new. I'm actually saving up for something huge. So
Oh, cool.
Oh,
hopefully I'll
okay.
be getting it soon.
Is it the-
hoping.
Do we
Is
have
it
a
the
hint on what
Twilight-
this huge thing is?
Is it
It's
the
a Lego.
Twilight
It's
Lego
a
house?
huge Lego that I have been saving up all year for, and I might be getting really close to getting it. So
Is it
I'm
is it the Twilight Lego house?
no. Yeah,
Is
like
it-
the-
Is it
yeah,
this
they made the
Lego?
Twilight Lego house.
Is it
It
this
is a
Lego
Lego.
right here that we're in?
Oh, the bricks.
Oh, our brick. Our brick. It's our brick.
All right. Let's get Dan up here.
It's Swag's attic.
Nicely dressed Dan. What did you get this week?
All right, well, the slab of the week is this one here. I don't have many 9/8s, but this one here is a gorgeous
Nice.
Defenders 49. And
Yellow
it is
label.
signed by Al Milgram, who probably has, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. But
There
one
it
of the
is.
best
Yep, I can see it.
classic signatures in all of Marvel. Anyways, I've always loved this. Always wanted to get a 9/8. I don't have too
Nice.
many of them.
That's cool.
Very cool.
This literally just came in today. This was 1950s Mickey Mouse.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So it's got some wear on it, but still, I love all my comics and I take care of them as best I can.
Yeah, I love
this
the
was-
fashion.
I thought this
With that
was
burlap?
I thought this was a prototype of Hammerhead from the Spider-Man series, but it's not. Marvel Family from 1945.
That's a
wow.
flat top.
Wow.
Sure.
It's triangle head.
Triangle head.
It's like a
yeah.
dreidel.
It's
It's a
not
dreidel.
it's a low grade. It's got some water damage and so forth, but still, I didn't pay that much for it, so that's cool. I found this. I forgot I had it. My wife and I last year were in Reno, and we became Avengers.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Dude.
By the way, Dan, Abdul says, very nice food. Eating this makes you feel hot and has sex. I don't eat these foods. I live alone. Can you shout out our friend Abdul, Dan?
Abdul, you're a scholar and you are a poet, obviously, because of what you're saying. And I don't understand what you're saying or why you're saying it, but hey, it's resonating with me. Abdul, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Yes.
Anyway, we're
Chance to be a
Avengers
politician.
But probably one of the biggest one I got here. I'm stunned I got this, and for the price that I got this, Amazing Spider-Man number 21.
Okay, that's nice.
Great
Steve
book.
Ditko. Anything in the Steve Ditko era is pretty good. I paid $50 for this.
The Beetle.
And when I got it, the guy that was selling it, it was one of the vendors said he looked at it and said, "What?" You could tell he's like, "Who put $50 on this? Because this is a lot more expensive than this." But again, it presents pretty well. It's got a rolled spine, but that can be corrected. But I'm
Dan,
stunned
start
that I got-
swaying. Rudini said I had to put on the music for you, the Dan music.
Oh, I forgot the swaying thing. Okay,
Yeah.
we didn't do that. All right, here we go.
And by the way, this name here says Dan got the stuff. Can you shout him out, Dan?
How do you pronounce the name? Jack?
That's why I said this name.
Yeah.
Jacor.
Jacoria?
Yeah.
Jacori.
Jacoria.
Jacoria.
That may be an acronym for something as far as we know. But welcome, despite that. But anyway, here's my last trick. Spider-Man number 21. Very cool.
Nice.
Like,
That's awesome.
What is Dan an acronym of?
Dan?
Yeah.
Dog,
amazing,
ass.
nuts.
You know, let me come up with
Nudicles.
something creative. We'll get back to this next week. And thank you.
Dan's awesome nudicles. There you go.
All right, Dan. So
I wouldn't have thought of that.
the Perchy swell?
Tiger, thank you for that thought.
You're
My
welcome.
man Perchy.
I didn't want the show to end, so I got the biggest honey hole ever. So
Oh, damn.
you guys is on-
50 hockey
Oh,
cards
my God.
individually.
Wow.
Okay,
and a
Tiger.
stack. No, so I'm not going to show all of it. I'm going to show a couple comics. My dad actually picked up a few from the Goodwill.
Oh,
So
okay.
he invited. I said I'd swing by, and he picked up some bangers. This is one I picked up.
Oh, nice.
I was going to use that as a space one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show off a few because he did find some goodies. So issue number 1,
Venom
Okay.
with Punisher.
Punisher.
That's sick.
little foily action. And then he found
Swag's
this
toilet
one.
paper is foil.
I know.
This one has a raised kind
It's
of like
the-
texture
I'm
on
the
it.
Juggernaut, bitch.
Okay, like embossed.
Juggernaut's about to punch him.
He is the juggernaut.
That one,
Mysterio.
this is really like a thick book. This one,
Oh,
That's what
Oh.
she
huge
said.
story on this one.
Ladies like that.
I really, the Unlimiteds were really big.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fabian from France. Perchy, can you give him a French greeting?
Of course, bonjour, comment ça va, mes amis?
Oh, that's great. Well, you bought the whole FF series. And that's
That
good because the movie coming out, prices will go up.
Yeah. But, this I flipped through. It looks like a great story. Thought this was a cool book. Another foily action. I
have
saw
that one.
one in the dollar bin that was just plain, no blue foil on it. So yeah, that was really cool. And then I can't show one of them because it has
Oh, some nudity?
no, it's
no.
not nudity. It's maybe a World War II symbol. That
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Good thinking out ahead.
yeah. So I
Dan
won't
got
show
that
it.
as a tattoo on his tramp stamp.
How about
I
I just do this?
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
bang.
So bunch of that. My dad got me some really great stuff. I won't show it all, but because I want to show the sports cards, we got 3 slabs and a bunch of.
By the way,
bags here.
Jess is cataloging all of our clips / blackmail,
Nice.
which is great. And
Nice.
actually, Jess, I could use if you write down the timestamps and be like, "This was funny," so I can make clips later. That'd be great.
It's a 2013 Upper Deck Center Rainbow 9 of Crosby.
Oh,
Nice.
Trying to find some 10s, but they're not.
Yeah. Nines
all
are
of them
good.
on budget. I'm cool
Nines
with
are
the 9.
good.
This is the one I was telling you guys that has the insert in the slab. I don't know if it's the older one, but 2009 Ultimate Collection 125 out of 139.
look at you
Nice.
with the slabs, bro. I like that.
Thanks. It's got like that plastic insert in it. I don't know what that is. Maybe an older slab, I guess. You would know better than me.
But by the way, we have a request from Rudini to read Abdul, our new friend Abdul's comment.
Oh, I love Abdul.
However, I think that what he's using may not fly in some countries. He says his mom is very beautiful. She is an Indian girl. I want to make her my life partner. So,
I don't think you can do that, Abdul.
yeah, Abdul, there may be a law against that in
Yeah.
here, but
Hey, but
This
you
is,
do you.
It's Oedipus.
you do you, Abdul.
you.
Perch is like, why am I highlighted when that comment's read?
This is a 2009 SP
My mom is
Authentic.
her stage name.
Nice.
All right. We won't
I
show
love
the
it.
low grades, but I did McDavid Hot Magma.
Hot
Out of,
magma.
$4.99.
Look,
Great
it looks,
centering
it
on
looks like
that.
a giraffe
That's cool.
spot.
It does.
Schizoid, by the way, says 2 young lovers bound by blood.
We got the Frozen in Ice unripped, so that matches my Ovi that I
Oh,
got.
yeah.
I picked that up.
Oh. So there's a
This-
card inside there you have to
Yeah.
rip out?
Yeah, mini card. Yeah.
I ain't ripping anything, man.
No,
Why?
We're never
No.
gonna know. We're not.
Forget
I
it.
might even get it slapped up, so you can't do it.
Yeah. I like how you think.
Oh,
Oh,
patch card?
patch.
Nice
Nice.
little patchy from Ice.
That's cool.
So I made this big deal with this guy. Not even a big deal. I paid $20. I got the McDavid. He threw in this for me.
Oh, sick.
Damn.
Color match.
That was at the card show last night. I picked this one up on eBay, $199.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Gold.
By the way, how do you guys like this new track? This kind of West Coast gangster lo-fi.
I love it. I like it.
Nice.
What's up?
Something different.
Bookend, 49 out
More
of 49.
cards.
Sick. That's
Oh,
awesome.
I went ham. I went ham.
Up,
I
man.
wanted this card ever since it came out.
Oh, dude,
Oh.
that's awesome.
Cool.
This Triple Gold Club, so 2010 gold medal, 2015 World Championship, and of course the Stanley Cup. I wish they actually would have put the 2014 gold medal, but that's okay. But that card was originally selling at one point for $150. I got 3 cards, $20.
Damn.
Wow,
Hey, shout out
man.
to Mr. and Fuego in the house, man. And hopefully you're going live Monday. We'll catch you then, man. Good to see you.
And then this was a nice one.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
PC
Oh,
guys,
that's cool.
same card, dual relics.
Those
Black
are your
die.
boys.
My boys right there. So
He's
yeah,
buying them all, so I can't.
I know.
yeah, I trying to nab him up. He's 18 away scoring tonight, so
Oh.
his price is going to keep rising. So it's been challenging to get like these PSA 9s even. So
Oh yeah, totally.
for an affordable price. But I did good. Thank you so much. What a fun
Awesome.
show. I've had a blast. A million comics now. Nice.
Perch's wife is unhappy looking at the checkbook. It's like he's spending all this money.
No,
I'm doing all right.
Perch, or what's your name? Swag? Is that
my
your name?
name is Swag.
Are you having the time of your life on this show now, Swag?
See, this episode has been like my favorite episode ever.
Hey, Swag. P. Shukla says the entire cast of Pawn Stars right here.
Hey, P. Shuka, that's me. I'm Corey from Pawn Stars or Chumley. That's me.
And me mom says Timu fake. So-
Corey's
Team
like
of
in
fake.
grade, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, did he go to jail?
No, I think he's in grade.
Oh, did he die?
Yeah.
The kid died?
Rest in peace, man.
Oh,
That's-
damn.
Did he really?
The one brother, I think, passed away.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not commenting anymore.
Somebody pull out the Google quick.
I'm gonna pull a Dan, and I'm gonna show a book that I've shown before because it's related to the book that I picked up. I
What?
only picked up one book,
Okay.
so I'm gonna show this book.
Okay. Dark
This I've
Phoenix.
showed before, Dark Phoenix,
Okay.
which is what we
That was a
call
pretty face.
a homage to a book that Sith has shown.
Homage.
I just
homage.
got this.
Okay, look at you.
This is X-Men number 56, a 12 center. I picked this up this week.
That's
And
awesome.
you can see the cover, and it looks eerily similar to this one.
That's true. It is an homage. And,
So it is.
and by the way, yeah, Jess, no need to do any timeouts. We love the trolls, and most of them
Yeah,
are for you to
don't.
banter with anyway. So
Yeah, Jess, didn't you make a best friend? You made a best friend last week. But yeah, so this one I've had for a few years, but I just got this one this week. This fills in another gap in the X-Men collection, so pick this one up. And the funny story about this book is my LCS. This was my LCS owner's actual copy. So
Okay.
He is downsizing his personal collection. He had a few X-Men books, but I didn't have this one, so I bought this one from the LCS owner. This is his own. Was his own book.
bro,
That's
he sold that to you because it was in the bathroom.
That could
It's painted.
but I still will check it off the list. So
That's
that
very
is-
cool, Swag. Very cool.
That is what I got. And then the cards I'm going to show on Your Team Sucks next week.
Can you give a shout out to Chelsea Reynolds?
Chelsea Reynolds, is that a book that you're showing us? I appreciate that.
There you go. I think it's, what is that? Oscar the Grouch? What is that?
It could be. It could be, or it
Oscar
could be
Green.
something
That guy was
something
blue.
inappropriate.
Cookie Monster?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Cookie Monster. All right, I got a lot of shit. Let's go through it. We did get the entire, you can tell it's football season.
Look at you.
The sealed 1992
92.
top football
Jeez.
set.
Wow.
This is not very expensive. It's like $40. You know what I mean?
Really?
I used to have every set from like 71 to like 2003. So got that. I already have this on the vinyl and the CD, and I used to bump this all the time. We got the Easy E. Easy Does It cassette. Sealed.
Dang, no way. Never played?
Yep. So, and by the way, I see Cygnus Starscream in the house, man. What is up, Scout99er from Instagram, my bro? I appreciate all you guys who hung out with us. Sorry we couldn't do the shout outs in the beginning. That will go back to regular programming next week.
Do we have to?
But yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, like, you know, going back to Corin Nemec, who was hanging out with us. I mean, when this dropped in 1989, this was all I was playing
1989
in my Toyota Corolla, and then NWA, of course, straight out of Compton, and then the DOC. That was all on heavy rotation. Also got a book about swag called "I'm the White Guy."
Hey, that looks like me too. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go. So this writer, his name is Soren Baker. He's got a YouTube channel. He just loves hip hop culture, and like his thing is like basically interviewing all of these OGs. And you know, I talk to him now and then, but he's a great writer. He's got the history of gangster raps, probably the best book on the genre. So I decided to pick that up. I read it all in one night. Now, let's get into some slabs, man. You know, my team is the Raiders, and I got me a PSA 10 Marcus Allen stickers. 1986.
Oh, nice.
No way.
Yeah. And
Bro, that's incredibly hard to get a sticker at 10. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm stoked on it. I mean, his rookie, it costs bank, right? So like that's I'm not gonna be buying a PSA 10 Marcus Allen rookie just yet, but you know, wanted to get some representation, you know, especially for my LA Raiders, because that's really my team. Not an LA Raider, but an Oakland Raider PSA 10 Randy Moss.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so one of the best, and you know, hopefully getting better in his health challenge. But we got some Randy Moss. Now he's probably long gone, Marvin Wynn, with the Edge, but he went ahead and sent me some of the Edge cards.
Oh, nice.
And I believe his next round's got the Spine Ticks crew.
Nice.
So we got that. Also got some comic books. Of course, G.I. Joe.
Joe.
The title that Logan is not reading. He's not reading the current Larry Hama G.I. Joe. You're missing out, bro. Destro versus Cobra Commander. I did, thanks to Logan and Tiger talking about this module, I bought the Forgotten Temple of Thar-Zun. It's a D&D module.
Yep.
Nice.
Good module.
I will not open it up and show the controversial figures, but when I saw Logan and Tiger show that, I was like, that now before prices go up or they ban it. Swag, I did get a comic that you would love. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. X-Men.
Oh, nice.
With Nightcrawler.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Detective Comics. Haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Nice.
And Nightwing.
Nightwing.
So those are all current ongoing comics. Marvin also sent a current issue of The Edge. Shout out to Marvin.
Oh, nice, Marvin.
Sick.
Don't
the trade
you have my
paperback.
address too, Marvin.
Well, you don't represent The Edge like I do, so. And we'll close it out with Logan and Tiger sent the Sith family something. So it's a whole box in here.
Oh.
And
it was supposed to be their last one. Sorry, guys.
Can I read this note?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything bad on there.
We got a note. It says, "Please fire Swag. He is intolerable." It says, "Sorry, this was supposed to be delivered before Christmas. Oh well. We did find an MF Ginger Kong for you, Sith, and a Scarlet Witch for Lady Sith. The Star Wars are new toys for the pups. Thank you so much for tolerating us and having us on your show. We love you guys. From the Hilt fam." Oh, thanks so much. That's all. And you didn't have to get anything, but we appreciate that. Shout out to Melinda Elliott hanging out with us. What is going on, Melinda? Thanks for being here. And everyone now giving counseling to Abdul. Abdul went from the hot sex talk to apparently he's sad. Abdul, I hope I can understand if Swag has made you depressed, but you're among friends.
Abdul, we can be friends.
Okay, we got some stuff here. Okay, there you go. We got a baby Grogu
Nice.
for Lady Sith. Look at that. Or are these for the dogs?
Those were for the dogs.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it says pet toy.
They're dog toys.
Oh, nice. We got a Chewbacca. Look at that. He's like, hi, Swag. You like my nose?
Hi, Chewy.
There you go. That's awesome. And okay. Yeah, Abdul, you know, this is a fun place to hang out, bro.
Yeah, Abdul. Don't be such a downer.
Oh, nice. What do we got here? Oh, the Ginger Kong. Look at that. Is that a Christmas ornament?
Yes, it's a Christmas ornament.
That is
Like I
dope.
said, it was supposed to be there before Christmas, but
By the way, I realized seeing that I got something else, but I've lost it already. And oh, we got a Hallmark ornament here. Let's see. I'm opening it gingerly. Oh, this is pretty cool. Lady Sith may be asleep by now. We got a Scarlet Witch right here. Check that out. That is awesome. Look at
hopefully we don't have that one.
We don't. She's like, Swag, please buy me a cheeseburger.
Well, good. I'm glad. I was afraid you might have had that one. I don't know.
No, that's so nice, you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I love Hallmark decorations myself. So.
We love Hallmark. Well, guys, this was Stream Sucks tonight because we spent a lot of time here on the stream, which was super fun. I mean, this was an epic night for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't forget to highlight everybody, right? Everybody showed their stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get around to saying goodbyes. This live chat really hung in there, man. Almost 3 hours. This is like the old Spine Ticks.
It is.
And we will just finish our goodbyes, and then I'll see you guys backstage. Dan, the man, what do you got coming up?
I have no idea. I'll be back next week, and it's been a really long, interesting, chaotic week. So I'll let you know next week when it happens. Sorry, it'll be kind of retroactive with this. So I'm just anyway. I'll see you guys next week with more good stuff.
Okay, everything's good with you then?
Yeah, everything's great. Yeah, just had an interesting day and an interesting week.
Hey, we got Barry in the house. He says French Dan.
No,
Barry.
No.
Wait a minute.
Barry, go yell at trees.
I got it.
Back of you dirty American sweet.
French Dan.
No, it's good though. It shows how you progressed already.
Yes, from French to English. Jay Salsa.
No way.
Jay Salsa rocking with us. So, you know, the Spine Ticks, the Edge variant with the graffiti. That's Jay Salsa. He did that art. Jay Salsa is an OG. And if you look at this YouTube channel for Spine Ticks Live, he also did the art there. We got Veronica in the house. Christy's Crazy Crafty Life. Shout out to you. Hope work wasn't too much. And now you're hanging out with us. Okay, so Dan, anything else?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Bonjour. Oui, oui. Nikki 2 times, my friend. You going live tomorrow night?
I will be going live tomorrow. No football, so I'll have to, and no cards to open, so I'll have to figure out something to occupy us for 2 hours.
Trolls.
Vagana.
You know, I just roll with the Vagana trolls for 2 hours. We'll make it work. We'll have fun as usual. Thanks for having me on. Now that I can actually say it instead of just type it, I'm sorry for your loss and Lady Sith.
Oh, thanks, man.
I saw her still in chat, so Lady Sith, I'm sorry for the things that you guys had to go through this week.
I appreciate that.
Love for you guys.
Yeah,
right?
for those who don't know, you know, we lost our senior pup, Tinkerbell. It has been difficult, but she did live a long life and is no longer suffering, and for that we're thankful. But it's never easy. So Spine Pets tonight will be after Logan's 10-minute clip and then Spine Pets, because I don't think I could come back to a stream after Spine Pets. But thanks for saying so, Nikki. We appreciate it, man. All right, let's get Tiger up here. Tiger, you know, you're usually a once a monther. You've been on here every week, and we appreciate it. I think with going back to Your Team Sucks and needing a shorter show, we'll have you back on monthly. But it has been super fun to have you on here, and you've been awesome, and everybody loves you and your mask.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on. I was surprised every week you were like, hey, you want to come on again? I'm like, really?
Well, I enjoy you being around.
Well, thank you, and I enjoy being on the show with you guys, and I really appreciate all that you guys do, and yeah, we just can't thank you enough, and like I said, we wanted to send you something as a token of our appreciation.
Well, thank you.
I know you said we don't have to send you anything, and I get that, but we just
That's not the point.
that wasn't the point. No, that wasn't the point.
Well, we loved everything, including the note, and the part you said, don't read this to Swag, but if you could picture him.
Yeah, we have Swag secrets.
Yep. Anything you want to announce? Are you and Logan doing anything special?
Well, Logan's the one that's got the schedule. We are doing 2 live plays this week. We're doing one on Sunday on Groundhog Day, and we're doing a mag on Monday. So those are the 2 I remember. The rest of the week, you just ask him because I don't really know.
Mag stands for.
Hey, we're going on. I'm like, oh, okay.
MAG stands for Military Action Game. I used to play in that until my character was killed off by Logan. So now I'm a viewer of the show.
Oh, but you did it so epically. You saved order.
You asked for it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if I asked for it, but speaking of asking for it, Logan, what do you got?
I like Tiger said, the 2 games, Isle of the Dragon Head and Mag, and then on Thursday I got a G.I. Joe Takes Classics where I'll be looking at 3 of the older G.I. Joe takes from our channel, and then we're back on Fridays and we're checking out Romancing the Stone as our top 2.
Nice. I love that movie. And what was her name before she altered her appearance?
Kathleen Turner.
Yeah. She was like the actress.
Yes, she was for a while.
Yeah.
Great movies.
Very cool. You said movies, right?
Says you guys are awesome.
I heard another word that rhymes with movies. And starts with B. Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for having us on, everybody. You guys are my bros, and I appreciate it.
Friday, Saturday, always fun from the Hilt and Spine Ticks. All right, let's get the Perchmeister up here, man. How about you, sir?
Thanks for having me on. It's a great show. No, it's awesome. Appreciate it. Nothing coming up. A couple shorts with the stuff I just showed you guys. So I sent it off, so it wasn't going to appear before the show. I didn't want to give away any surprises. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
I appreciate you, bro. You have your channel and you're very successful at it. It's kind of like with me with Spine Ticks Main. I haven't done any solo live streams on there since this really kind of, we're all free to do that, of course, but it seems like we're all having a great time on this particular channel where we get together. So
I just haven't had time. If I had the extra time, I would. That's why, this works out great.
Meanwhile, Swag is pumping out content left and right.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think he sleeps ever.
All right, Perchy. Well, we'll see you backstage. Swag.
Whoa.
Swag, the co-host with the most. Did you have a good time tonight?
I did. That was awesome. Thanks for not reading out the chat. Thanks for having such a great guest. That was really cool. Thanks for letting me be your wingman in case something broke.
Internet.
I was right there. What a cool time though. It was a great interview. You definitely hosted it well, so that was awesome. Yeah, sorry for your news, you and Lady Sith. I know that's always a hard thing.
Thank you, bro.
But like you said, on to no more suffering. So good things come of that. So
that's why, Swag, we're putting you out of your misery tonight.
Yeah. I'll go back and
we'll stick you in the basement.
I'll go live in the attic.
The attic. Sorry, attic.
Sith doesn't let me come out besides Spine Ticks Live. But yeah, congratulations on your 3 million subscribers on the main channel. You can see us on Your Team Sucks next week as we go into the Super Bowl, and it'll be awesome. And I'm looking not forward to it, but when the Chiefs win, I'll be like, I told you so. So
shut up, Swag.
I mean, that will happen. And
Swag, can you read Barry Barry's comment?
Yeah, Barry says, yes, Swag, you are the greatest Spine Ticks Live guest ever. You are my favorite. Thank you for always being around every week and not like other people that left the show. Oh, thanks, Barry. I like you too.
Oh, shots fired.
Whoa.
Well, Swag, thank you, man. It was great to have you on. Fabian distracted me because he said the Joker is now a Laker too, which would be awesome if.
Fabian, that's not funny.
All right. Well, we had a great time, man. Spine Ticks Live, always a good time here. Spine Ticks Maine, pumping out daily shorts. But yeah, that was great having an old pal like Corin Nemec on here. You know, the way we operate here. I also worked in entertainment, so you know, having stars and celebrities is not my thing. I like to have people that I click with. You know, Corin, he follows back, he interacts. Like I don't want to just bring on people here and fanboy and be like it's a one-way street. Like he's actually reciprocal, which is nice, because otherwise there's plenty of channels to interview celebs and those kind of people. I'm more for who's real and who's down to earth. And Corin, man, he was definitely that. You know, like just even the stuff we were talking about. You know, like I don't think probably that's been in other hangouts for him. You know, on streams talking about to that detail some of that LA street life. I know it was definitely fun for me because that's why I reached out to him in the first place. I was reminiscing on those old good times. It felt like DJ Vlad TV when he brings on rappers or, you know, actors and they talk about stuff. But shout out to everybody in the live chat. You guys were great. Can't do the show without you. You all had great questions. Shout out to Lady Sith, my wife, my life, and of course Alan and Carla. They're long asleep now. But shout out to them. And yep, from here on, Logan has prepared a song, so we'll play that. We'll do Spine Pets, and we'll be out. I almost forgot though, as I get everything ready, to ask my friend Perchy, the Perchmeister. Perch?
You know what kind of times we've had? We had the best times.
Good timing.
Pause.
Look, we can talk with it now.
Oh, I love that.
We've been waiting for the stage to come along for so long. We have finally found a place where we belong. We can't go wrong. Now we're on our own, letting our feelings show.
Except Swag, he has no feelings.
This is our new home. We're finally letting go. And we know these are the best times of our lives. These are the best times.
Well, I just got a notification.
These are the best times of our lives. These are the best times.
Notification.
Everyone you meet today is on their way. They know the score. Up and down the street, smiling faces seem to know what you're looking for. Don't ask us why, but there's something for everyone.
Except for Swag, he gets nothing.
How the time does fly when you're having fun. We've just begun. Ooh, these are the best times of our lives. These are the best times. These are the best times of our lives. These are the best times. These are the best times of our lives. These are the best times.
They really are.
These are the best times of our lives.
Courtesy of Logan.
Yeah. They said I was just a stand-in, but legends don't stand still. Came through the gate, they ain't know my name. Off-world kid, but I played the game. No SGC, no VIP. Still drop bars like I'm MVP. Dodging the haters like an asteroid clown. Fought with the squad, now they down. Ain't from Earth, but I got that heat. Took one for the team, then they swapped my seat. Still wanna know which colors to wear. I was tomorrow's hero yesterday. I held it down when they walked away. I left my mark, but they paved it gray. Now my name's just echoes in the Milky Way. Tomorrow's hero yesterday. Yo, I ain't got a statue, ain't no fanfare, but my name stay tagged on the stars out there. From San Fernando to the Andromeda lanes. Left my art in the cosmos, I don't play no names. Took some hits, yeah, life ain't fair, but a king don't fold, I just breathe that air. I got scars, but I wear them like armor. Still painting my story, make the universe warmer. I was tomorrow's hero yesterday. I held it down when they walked away. I left my mark, but they paved it gray. Now my name's just echoes in the Milky Way. Tomorrow's hero yesterday. Nah, I ain't vanished, I just leveled up. Still spraying my name while the world keep up. Every crack in the pavement's a stroke I paint. Turn a lost man's past into golden saints. Yo, you feel that? That's history humming. You can cut me from the scene, but my name's still running. Nah, I ain't vanished, I just leveled up. Still spraying my name while the world keep up. Every crack in the pavement's a stroke I paint. Turn a lost man's past into golden saints. Yo, you feel that? That's history humming. You can cut me from the scene, but my name's still running. I was tomorrow's hero yesterday. A legend lost, but I paved my way. I took my hits, but I made it stay. Now my name's on the stars, let them fade away. And honor standing for a legend and the tomorrow's hero. I ain't never just a guest star, I am the real. Running and jumping, best friends under the sun. Chihuahuas, wolf cats, paw, they're on the run. Crass giggles and sidewalk tales all done. Daytime breezes singing songs of fun.
Jerry's heart, it skips a beat. Teeny paws can't stay in seat. Little hunter, watch it dash. Squirrels escape a flash, a flash.
On the grass, they dream so high. Jerry Fox, while William sighed. Squirrel dances on a branch so sly. In the daylight under azure sky. Kick it, Jerry, show them what you got. On the grass, you're the king, taking every shot. Daytime walk turned into a scene. Chihuahua kicking legs like it's a dream. Kick it, Jerry, show them what you got. On the grass, you're the king, taking every shot.